Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday night episode of Creator Series WRC. We're in the penultimate round of the championship. We head, of course, to Rally Chile. My name's Tom Knight. Alongside me, in what can only be described as a beautiful West Ham kit, is the wonderful Alex Heron. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, TK. Yes, I just picked this out of my collection of West Ham kits that I have and owned. But yeah, we're here back for some more WRC action. And we are here in Chile, as you mentioned. I'm very much looking forward to this rally. It is going to be a fantastic rally in if I remember correctly, the World Rally Cars 1997 edition.
Yeah, 1997 to 2011 is the car class that our drivers will be taking out this evening, in this evening's endeavours. And I've been assured there's going to be a real variety of cars on offer. We've got the 206, of course, famously manufactured by Peugeot. We've got the C4 going up. We've got the Zara and more C4s as well. So I'll let you know. We'll keep you updated as our drivers do go out and start their runs. But the thing that we're all talking about here, Alex, is, of course, our championship. And I wonder if we can go across and have a look and see how it all stacks up at the moment. There we go. To my left-hand side, Using tops the championship. 125 points to his name. Kamikaze in P2 with 103. Vlembar just behind him with 101. Of course, if you cast your minds back to last Monday's endeavours, where Kamikaze not only DNF'd him on a stage, couldn't get the car reset to track, he then somehow drowned in a puddle.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's very interesting indeed. But it has given Using a very nice gap at the top. Of course, Using is not in the commentary box this afternoon, so we can commentary curse him. That is what he's told us to do. So we're looking forward to seeing that. But again, even in the mid pack of the championship, all still very close. Obviously, only 2 points between Vlembar and Kamikaze. I'm looking forward to this one, and I think it's going to be. Some people aren't going to be as used to it as others, but I think it's going to be very good, especially with the two long stages that start this rally off.
You're absolutely right. There's some fantastic stages for our drivers to try and endure. Of course, the first two, basically, one long stage split into two, of course, that being Rio Lea, and the second stage on this being Maria Las Cruces, or Cruces. I'm neither Chilean or speak Spanish, so
no.
Tonight will be certainly an interesting endeavour in trying to pronounce rally stage names. Welcome back to the penultimate round of Season 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, we're known for pronouncing names of not only drivers, but also rally stages, as I found out a couple of weeks ago. But yes, 18 kilometers on Rio Lea, and of course a 16.7 kilometer on Marie Las Cruces, I believe is how you say it. But yeah, I assume we're going to be getting that into that shortly. Our lovely producer in my ear has just told me that he's not told me anything. He's told me nothing, actually. Nothing at all.
Yeah, they're all on their shakedowns at the moment, and you can see Punju here in his, as aptly described, Lil Pizza 206 rally with Aerotech and the Citroen C4 WRC doing their shakedowns. Of course, the benefit of this is they get the extra set of tyres, which, after chatting to a few of the drivers slightly earlier on in this evening's proceedings, I was told they are rather necessary, especially in the Chilean rally.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these different kind of aspects of cars will give them. Will give these drivers. Anyway, obviously, Punju always racing with a smile on his face, no matter what situation he is in. And of course, as you can see by this Chilean rally there, a lovely stack of wood on the right-hand side. Hopefully, it won't distract the drivers as going across this very tricky dirt section of, I believe, what is going to be the first stage. But of course, they are only on their shakedowns right now, so don't get excited, everyone. We'll get into it properly in a little moment's time.
Absolutely right. Shakedowns will be completed. They'll have an opportunity to assess how their setup's been doing, but I'm sure they'll have been doing that all throughout the week as well. Lots of prep, lots of practice to head into, well, I think one of the most dangerous rallies, at least in this section of the calendar. The cliffs, as I've been told, are rather treacherous, and one wrong move can quite often find yourself heading over the side. I attempted one stage of this, I'll have you know, folks at home, and then I got stuck because my reverse gear stopped working, so the run kind of concluded rather prematurely.
So unlike Oscar Piastri, you couldn't find reverse after having a crash. But TK, I'm sure these drivers are a little bit more experienced on this kind of course than you were when you tried it out.
Yeah, I think they'll have a little bit more practice, a little bit more preparation, shall we say. They're more experienced rally drivers than probably me and you combined. If you want to include Gareth as well,
Yeah.
us three combined, because we've got no eyes amusing in the commentary box this week. He's normally the one that I can lean on and go, oh, how do we normally take this stage? But this week, we've got our expert opinions, and generally my rule of thumb is, if in doubt, flat out.
Yeah. I mean, speed and power solves many things, as been told by a few people. But yeah, I usually lean on eyes amusing as well, also known as John for information. And I don't have him either. So TK and me are going to be bouncing off each other. We've both learnt things doing this WRC broadcast, so maybe we've learnt enough together to be able to put on a competent and very knowledgeable broadcast for everyone.
I'm certainly hoping that's the case. Punju just getting what looks like a bottle of vinegar. If I'm,
It does, yes.
It looked like British vinegar. If anybody else is following along there,
Oh.
it's probably not, but that's what it looked like.
Maybe it's Ribena.
I think it could be. Other brands, of course, are available.
Yes, we should mention that.
But no, I think we picked up hopefully enough over the course of, for me, I think 6 seasons now of running yourself a few broadcasts alongside Isaac.
Yeah.
And now watching a ball with Punju with his beautiful triple monitor layout, which I absolutely am in envy of.
Yeah,
as he's about to send it to the first stage.
Yeah, it's spectacular. This triple monitor setup, and he's somehow talking through his lap. I mean, I find that quite incredible that you can not only focus on the rally, which is very dangerous, as you mentioned. It is very long, being 18 kilometers, and you can talk during it as well.
Well, speaking of talking during stages, we're going to have, I believe, not one, but 2 stage talkthroughs this afternoon as well. We've got Ryan. Ryan, of course, last week did stage 3 for us. He's going to come in and do another stage, I believe, stage 3 once again, for you viewers at home, driving the lovely Citroen C4. And, well, our very own Isa Musing is also going to come in and do a stage. I can't remember what stage is going to come in, but it'll become a surprise as all of us, and I am being informed in my eye by a reliable as ever producer, the penultimate stage, stage 8.
Stage 8. The Ted Kravitz in our ear, always telling us exactly what we need to know. The false information. But yeah, go through this first part of stage 1 here, of course, Rio, Leah. Now, we don't know the tyres. We're definitely going to be asking those questions to find out exactly what compounds they are running and what strategy they have gone for. But obviously a longer stage to start off with. As you mentioned, TK, this stage is normally taken as a combined stage, but it's split for this rally. Oh my goodness me, that was very close to that left-hand side. I've just been told in my producer by Ted Kravitz that it's possibly hard, medium, or maybe hard, medium, hard.
Yeah, that is. I was speaking to a few of the drivers earlier on. A couple of them came up with a nice little mnemonic, which unfortunately, due to parental guidance reasons, I can't share on the broadcast this time around. However, as our producer did say in the back end, hard, medium. Medium, of course, being for the power stage, stage number 9, will be the opted tyre choice, but you've got to be crucial when you're doing that shakedown. You've got to make sure you're on the hards. That's the second set that you get, and I think that could be a make or break difference in this rally.
Yeah, it certainly could be. And just watching on board here, riding through the mountains, I mean, that's a deadly drop right there with Aerotech in the Citroen C4. I mean, if you go off that, I imagine, TK, you may have come very close to coming off that in some of your runs you did of this, but this looks incredibly dangerous as the car is almost sideways there for Aerotech.
Yeah, my lawyers advised me not to comment on what happened in my run. Unfortunately, there's no video evidence of it, so we can't possibly tell whether or not I did end up down a cliff. But nonetheless, Aerotech is making it through as well. Our producer in the back end said, let's get up on the RaceNet. Well, I can confirm I never made it to the end, so it won't be on RaceNet.
You only meant to say that when there was a lawyer present, TK. But Aerotech is very much concentrating. We haven't actually... should we comment on Aerotech's outfit this afternoon? I don't think we've commentated on it yet. I love his headband.
That is absolutely stunning. I thought for a minute his top was saying Norris something, and it's not. I can't read what the rest of it says.
It's saying, I think it's saying Nori. I don't want to pronounce what the second word is. I can't see it.
Yeah, yes. I'm not going to make assumptions.
We'll let Aerotech tell us what it is. That'll be the first interview question we ask him when he comes into the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how our drivers are competing. But Aerotech at the moment looking like a true professional. in terms of rally. You say that as something freezes up. I'm not sure if that's right, and that's Aerotech freezing up. I wonder if his PC has just said goodbye to him rather abruptly. But Ryan and Quentin both in the box. Quentin, of course, I think just finishing his shakedown run, and so we'll be getting prepared to go. Ryan, about 1/8 of the way through. These opening stages are incredibly long, so it's going to feel like we're always on the same stage, at least for about half an hour, as we start coming back and forth to some of our drivers. But Ryan looking absolutely focused, and he is, you can see that little graphic, the overlay that he's running at the bottom. Such descriptive. See how the throttle and the brake inputs are being in. It's something we mentioned on last week's broadcast. He's very progressive in his brake, almost similar to trail braking into corners, whereas you'll see probably more traditional WRC drivers slamming on the brakes and trying to get the car turned in and run. And also, you can see the delta on the left-hand side of his speed comparatively to his best run. Oh, that could have gone very, very wrong.
I mean, there wasn't even a face change from Ryan there. He just kept the same face. He was like, yeah, I'm going to go down this and then come back up with it. Like, there was nothing wrong. I mean, the dude is, well, as they say, locked in at the moment on his flying lap. As I say that, he goes straight into a tree. The commentary curse is at full effect.
I'm glad it's not me this week talking about laps, as you've commented on a flying lap here. I'm sure Ambient Mike will be very quick to comment amongst that, but keeping an eye on Ryan here. L, of course, standing for locked in. Ignore it says the bottom right little one. No, locked in. That's where he stands on this opening stage.
Yeah, he's definitely locked in, and even though he hit a tree on the stage run, if that's better, then I might have said flying lap. I can't remember. I did, yes. It's the F1 in me. It'll never go. It's still going on his lap here. Obviously, me and Ryan have become good friends. I make jokes about him quite a lot on track. After he had a puncture, I said he was very deflated afterwards, which made him really chuckle. It really did, I promise. But last time I was commentating, of course, he was wearing a raincoat. So he's decided to change his outfit. It's not raining, of course. It wouldn't make sense for him to wear a raincoat. And then we've got Ancephalosis there in the top left. In the Subaru Impreza 2008 edition, there's about 25 million editions of the Subaru Impreza. And then, of course, we've got the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo in the top right-hand side.
From what I remember, Ancephalosis actually owns a Subaru Impreza, which could explain why he's running it here this afternoon. I think he's quite fond of the Scoobies, as it has been quite formally aptly named. So himself and Jam choosing what were rally competition amongst themselves. We've got the Impreza on the left, we've got the Lancer Evo on the right. These two were locked in fierce battle. If we look back amongst the years, this was incredible to have the two going side by side. Well, not side by side on the mountains, but timing up against one another.
Yeah, I mean, these are sort of, if you talk to a casual fan that doesn't know a lot about rally, they will mention the Subaru Impreza or the Mitsubishi, as I can't speak
I can't speak possibly today.
I can't speak possibly today. My tongue is tied, unfortunately. But Gareth just, well, our producer, I should say, just mentioned in my ear that apparently Ryan was wearing a Nottingham Forest scarf the other day during broadcast, which apparently made him very angry.
Up the Notts County, they were once in Woke Kings League, and that's about as much to know about them. We had a fantastic 4-1 win against them on a very rainy day in Nottingham. That's about all I know about Nottingham history at present. Apart from that, they have one of the oldest pubs in the country, the Old Jerusalem Inn, which is also... It's not really that old, but they like to claim it is. Yeah, we'll move past that talk. Back to the Chilean at hand. And we see Commander Biz back in the rally car, choosing the Subaru Impreza 2001. Of course, one of the other iterations available in this car class. There's one more, which I don't think anybody's running this week. We got JPH also running the C4. Much like, I'm now trying to remember who was running. I believe it was Jam earlier on. No, it wasn't Jam. Who was running it earlier on? Aerotech.
The Aerotech? Ah.
Well, we'll continue through, and of course, yeah, three drivers running that car. I'm assuming Alex doesn't seem the producer could be heard for about half.
Yeah, sorry, I forget that he can't actually. He's just a voice in my head. Sorry, I've got so many in there. I just forget. No one else could hear him. So we're looking with Commander Viz and what's the name on the right side? I always forget. Is it JPH? I always want to say IRC. but I'm going to from now on. But they're both looking good on their first, well, their run of the first stage here in the Chilean hills.
Yeah, it's certainly looking smoother when smoother than
Oh
when
my
I
gosh.
first attempted this a couple of days ago. This is really going well with both of us failing to speak, but we will carry on and we'll keep going. But folks at home, let us know how your Monday's been. How are you enjoying this rally if you've attempted it so far? And of course, let us know in the live chat whereabouts you stand on the RaceNet leaderboard if indeed you have joined the Creator Series RaceNet Club, because that's where everybody essentially has their times posted. That's where the competition really is. And as we enter into our penultimate round of the calendar, it's absolutely incredibly eyes amusing. It's only a few hundred points off top spot of EXR Tristan, who actually has been looking rather dominant for most of the season.
Certainly has, and now we're watching with the two championship contenders, really. Obviously, eyes amusing, I'm sure we'll see him a bit later, but Vlembar in the Citroen, and of course Kamikaze also in the Citroen. Got to mention Kamikaze's lighting there. I would feel that lighting would affect me while racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible to see. I don't know how Kamikaze can see. I think he's sort of a reminder of what happened last week. He wants to be blue like the puddle. Just a mental reminder not to find any. I don't think there are any in Chile. It looks like a rather dry circuit compared to dry running compared to what we saw last week. No one heard that. And yeah, so far he's making his way down the hills rather nicely.
He certainly is. I mean, this looks incredibly tricky out there. I mean, I've now commentated on very close by Kamikaze. I think he got distracted by the piles of wood. I told you they would. Those piles of wood are very distracting on the right-hand side of the stage. And that seems to be the line that everyone takes, Vlembar doing the same thing that we saw. Right. Is there no corner cut there? Oh, apparently no cut. Oh, my producer's just told me no cut. Obviously, you can't hear him. He's not actually there at all. But they're all looking good so far. Kamikaze maybe hitting the wall a little bit too much, in my opinion. I don't know very much about rally, but I think he was a bit upset about that. But now going downhill, very tricky indeed. I mean, look how much he's moving the steering wheel there on his camera. You can see that how much he's having to concentrate just to keep it going, basically in a straight line.
It's absolutely incredible. And Kamikaze is one of the smoothest drivers I've seen, probably all the time that I've been doing this WRC broadcast. He normally will just be slightly adjusting the wheel, just enough to get the car turned in. But of course, we're on a gravel surface at the moment. Every single driver is on the harder compounder tyre. They won't have as much grip as they probably would have liked to have. And that's why you're really seeing Kamikaze fighting the wheel, wanting to get that car turned in as he executes the hairpin. Absolute perfection. Oh, he's amusing almost on his roof for half a second. That was definitely a two wheels moment. I think there may be new pants required, please.
Yeah, certainly will be. Of course, he has been in the commentary box for the last few. He's made almost another mistake there, as that was a very interesting camera. I was using changed his face slightly there. It's changed his face to Daklight Vince. Very odd indeed. But Eyes Amusing is running very nice through the Chilean hills here, and driving the Seat, which we haven't. I don't think we've seen yet so far. So it is debut in the series, as my producer has just told me. So I am very much looking forward to seeing what he can do. If there's any man I trust to pick the right car for the circuit, it's Eyes Amusing, but he does tend to pick the car that no one else does.
I hate to spoil this for you, Alex, especially as we're so soon into praising his car choice. A lot of drivers, once again this afternoon, have had a gentleman's agreement to avoid some of the fastest cars in the class, making a little bit of a competition amongst themselves. And Eyes Amusing went, you know what, I'm going to take the mean car from this class. And unfortunately, that has been the Seat Cordoba, and that's what he finds himself racing in this afternoon. And we are confirming he's not that guy Vince.
Yes, yeah. He is confirmed that it's Eyes Amusing, not that guy Vince. I mean, he is now on camera. We can definitely see him, and he is definitely, well, as they say, locked in. To get that. I'm going to use that as much as I can. I've decided on this commentary. That mountain looks so dangerous on that left-hand side. I would not feel comfortable at all. Like, these obviously, the thing we should mention here as well, that there is a very much difference, I imagine, between driving in WRC, like they are now, in this video game, and imagine doing this in real life, TK. Could you just imagine being that close to the barrier, or sorry, the no barrier, I should say, and just a very high drop?
Yeah, in the nicest possible way. I don't think I'd like to do that even at road car at normal speeds, let alone the hundreds of kilometers an hour that these cars are pulling through as we keep on board with Aerotech now, coming up towards the finish of the first stage. And what's felt like an eternity, 13 minutes, 18 seconds for that, and about a minute off the fastest pace so far. So I think he'll be within the top 100, which is what he would be aiming for. Punju also across the line as well. Keep an eye now with Vlemba and Kamikaze. They're about halfway through their stages respectively, and they are using and abusing the rally limits here. Those no cut markers, well, apparently nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found indeed. I mean, it's such a... Oh, Kamikaze again. My friend, got to watch out there. But he's definitely pushing Kamikaze. I mean, he knows time is running out. There's only, obviously, this round and one more to go in this year's WRC Championship. Ryan's shaking his head there. He clearly does not look happy about what he's just done on this stage. And we don't know what time he has done. It's 10 seconds faster than Aerotech, apparently. He did have that little crash early on in his Citroen. I thought it said Toyota for a second, but it says Total. That would be very confusing if it was a Toyota Citroen.
Well, it's a total Citroen C4 moment.
Well, true.
13.09 to his name, 21 seconds of penalties. So that's what's going to really hamper him. If he didn't have them, that'd be a top 10 time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 21 seconds of penalties. What did he do in the end? He did a
13.9. I mean, 13.09. Top 30, I believe.
Yeah, it's still a cracking time to recover, considering the crash he had. I mean, he didn't have just a little off; he had quite a big off. As we are now with Quinton in the Citroen again. Look how fast he is moving on that on the screen. You can just see he's just like, yep, just going for a nice Sunday drive. But I'm actually on a giant Chilean mountain. It never gets any easier for our rally drivers. As I just noticed, Ancephalos is wearing a Spanish national team shirt.
That he is, and very stylish at that.
It certainly is. I wonder who his favourite Spanish national player is. I'm going to ask him later.
Whilst we get that crucial information, he's coming up towards the end of the stage as well. Square right to hairpin left. It's a very tight and technical end to this first stage. Lots of corners here in Chile. You're essentially going down and up mountains, which is how it must feel to try and overcome a few of life's challenges, but navigating them well, abusing the car as much as he wants. The Impreza 08, handling everything that he's throwing at it. Citroen Zara, of course, for Quanten. I can't see how far he is through the stage, of course, just off to the left-hand side of his respective screen, but I'm going to assume probably not too far off if we know anything about this man after seeing him race in previous rallies.
He's in what I'd say the tree section of the rally.
Tires are gonna be...
Yeah, I think it's all tree sections at the moment.
It might be. It might just be, but we know it's in a tree section of the rally, so I'm sure that will narrow it down. Ancephalos is coming up to the end of the rally here, just coming up to the big finish, jumps over, and it's a 13.22, and I think he said not bad, or nightmare. Was it nightmare?
I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see. I'll try and figure out whereabouts he is. I mean, he's in the top 100. That's going to be, I think, not a bad moment.
It's not
for
awful.
Him. Just sneaking into the top 100, though. Yeah, 90th place.
I mean, it's still a top 100. It's better than I could have done, Ancephalosis. So
I think it's better than I could have done as well, almost certainly.
I mean, I've never driven the game, but it's definitely better than I could have done, for sure. As we see Yam there, who's also running a very nice 3-monitor setup. Jealous once again. Look at that wheel as well. That should be like on a Chevy from the 1970s, not on a
that was a struggle,
not on a rally car.
Either a Chevy or an old school American truck, if you know.
Yeah.
I hope
but
it
no,
didn't damage
looking
too much.
absolutely stunning. He's got the setup that everybody wants. You can see the screen above him with all the Discord creators in. He's got his stream up there as well. He's got is that an iPad as essentially a rev monitor, a gear monitor? This is a fantastic setup.
I mean, the man knows what he wants, and he walked out of the store with a lot of different components that day as he comes up towards the finish, and he's going to stop by the marshals. I think he said 14 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep an eye on when he comes up towards the marshals, see what time he has actually set. I'm sure leaderboard will becoming rather apparent as he pulls up his run sheet on the left-hand side just to make sure he's still within the required time.
14:27.
I think he would have been hoping for a little bit better from that. 357th place.
And that's, as mentioned by our producer, behind him. You know, and Gareth is no spring chicken in the WRC, that's for sure.
He may have multiple copies of Chicken Run, but Spring Chicken is a thing that he is not.
He certainly isn't, for sure. As someone who is a spring chicken, though, is about to come towards the end of his first stage run here in Rio Lea. Of course, I imagine it's quite nice as a rally driver to get the long stages out first, because then you've got a nice section of shorter stages to come, and of course the power stage on stage 9 right towards the end of our rally, but we're still quite a long way away from that, so don't get excited about that just yet. And you can see the 4 screens on screen right now. Can they all see your 4, Gareth? I'm not making that mistake last time. Good. You can see they're all sort of coming towards the end of their first stage here. These are the guys that you should be keeping an eye on. These are the ones that are challenging for that championship or challenging for the top times here in our Curator series.
Absolutely right. We'll get their respective times as soon as they come across the final board. Content will be the first of those to do so. Let's check on and how he's lining up on the leaderboard. Hopefully he'll pull that up in the next couple of moments, taking the beautiful Citroen Zara, which is just a lovely looking car. Next across the line, Kamikaze 1309 is 35th place for Quantin as well, same as Ryan for Kamikaze. 12:33, I believe that was for Vlembar in the top left-hand side. And Isaac Musing left to come. Yeah, 12:33. That's a great time.
That's a third. I think that's 4th, I believe, on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, it is.
That's a cracker of a time, that is. Isaac Musing, on the other hand, I can see that top right may not be at that sort of level. He is in an atrocious car, but I mean, you can tell he's still concentrating. He's just had a quick look at the stream. Maybe he's heard me slag him off. I don't know if he's actually listening to the stream. He's going to come up towards the finish now. One last jump to go. Takes a little bit of a bump on the left-hand side and is a 13:01. That is still, I believe, a top 40 time in a car that is, well, let's say not very good.
Only just, and he'll be milliseconds around Quantin as well. Those two interlocked at the hip. It would appear. Aerotech making his way through the second sector. Maria La Cruce, which again I probably mispronounced to any Chileans in the chat or anybody of that close language. I apologise profusely.
Yeah. I was gonna mention anyone from Chile or Spain. If we're saying your language wrong, please tell us in chat, and then our producer Gareth will find the right pronunciation for us and teach us how to say it.
Absolutely right. This stage looks to be a lot quicker as Punju drifting through the hills here. Look at the speed that is carrying. I'm not sure if that's the triple monitor effect or if that is just how fast he is boogieing through the Chilean hills. He is moving at an incredible rapid rate of knots through this stage. It's going to feel a lot shorter than it actually is, because in reality this is only about kilometre and a half shorter than our first stage, but it's taken at such high speeds they're flying through it.
Yeah, they certainly are. It may be a 16.7 kilometre stage, but at the speed they're going, it will not feel like one, as you mentioned. Okay, and these drivers are flying through here, so much that the windscreen wipers came on for Punju there.
I've had that before. If you're going quick enough, they either turn on or I think you just press the button to activate them. Or potentially he has automatic wipers enabled, the cheat code slightly enabled. So this is going to be interesting to see how all our creators line up. And whilst we go through the second stage run, I'll try and pick out who did the best out of our creators in the first stage. Vlemmer, of course, P4 for himself. And then JPH in 20th as things stand. Ambient Mike, of course, a frequent visitor in the chat in 21st. Incredibly quick on his day, and that's with a 10-second penalty as well. Isaac Musing 36th, just ahead by literally 0.4 of a second ahead of Quanten as your top 40.
I mean, in F1 terms, that sounds like a massive gap, but I imagine rally is quite small.
I mean, over 18 kilometres,
yes.
Only being 0.4 away. I mean, Commander Beer is down at 41st as well. Ryan in 50th. This is incredibly close. Speaking of Ryan, as he makes his way through the second stage, looking a little bit bumpy.
Yeah, a little bit bumpy, but of course, I just commentated on Ryan's lap. I will not make the same mistake and curse him again. That will not be happening today. So Ryan is looking very nice on his second stage. He is up on his delta there. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner of just by his kilometers an hour. Goodness me, it's so bumpy indeed. I mean, the gravel just going on the bottom of this car as well, I imagine. There's going to be a lot of gravel sweeping to be done after the end of this rally. But I believe they're still on the hard tyre. They wouldn't have swapped tyres just yet. We're only on stage 2. But this is a bit of a shorter rally. There's only 9 stages on this one, TK, compared to, say, when I was commentating in Portugal, I believe we had 12 stages. So there is a difference in maybe strategy and how they're going to use the tyres.
It's a bit of a subterfuge if you look at it from that sort of angle. The number of stages is shorter. When you consider stage 1 and 2 combined are about 32 kilometers long. We then have stage 7, which is 16 kilometers. Stage 8, which is 10 kilometers. The power stage, another 8 kilometers. So in reality, it's probably around the same distance and speed overall. But of course, because you've got those longer stages in 1, 2, and 8. It feels like a longer, it feels like a shorter rally in terms of stages, but the typical routine will be seeing 4 stages on the hard tyres, then another 4 stages on the hard tyres, and then mediums will be coming out for the power stage and stage 9.
Right, now I'm not going to repeat what I just heard Punju say in my ear, because it's not appropriate for the broadcast. Yeah, that's what he said. That is what he said. As Aerotech is flying down the hill now. Again, the concentration that these drivers will have is quite incredible. I mean, I can barely concentrate a 50% F1 Grand Prix, let alone, a rally that's, 16 kilometers long and this fast. And I believe, just heard from our producer, exclusive here on the Creator Series, that we're going to get Aerotech for an interview first. Once we have finished, I believe, the first 2 stages, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to assume probably when he finishes his stage, unless we're going to be brawl.
No, drag him in now. Drag him in now. It'll be a surprise. Nice surprise. As he's going through the pile of logs there. 4 piles of log. Goodness me.
Well, it is looking rather foresty at the moment. I'm very surprised they aren't using it. Look at that cute left-hander. And that is absolute perfection from Aerotech. Beautifully done. Got the rear end of the car kicked out rather nicely. Got the power on precisely at the right time. And now he's flying back up the hill. This is on for a really good run, I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's looking good so far for Aerotech. I mean, just going over those jumps, the feeling of, I think, being up in the air and having no ability to control that car at all of where it's going to land is quite terrifying indeed. I mean, even those smaller jumps where you think, yeah, I can control it a bit, and you're like, no, I've got no tyres on the ground. That's going to be near impossible.
See, this is where the Red Bull livery cars have an advantage, because of course we all know Red Bull gives you wings.
True.
And it's able to guide itself mid-air, and I feel like it's, once again, an appropriate time to say other energy drinks are available.
And they certainly are.
But Aerotech making the best of what he has to deal with at the moment in the fantastic Citroen C4. I think a lot of drivers choosing this because it looks rather stable, or at least feels rather stable. I haven't got any confirmation from drivers of that. I'm going purely off what we're seeing on our screens.
We could always ask the drivers during the interview phase how they feel about their car. I mean, I'm looking forward to asking I've just heard from Ted Kravitz that the C4 is the meta car. They were fastest in pre-season testing, which likely means they're going to be the fastest today.
Yeah, absolutely right. C4 is absolutely meta. As Mike says in the chat as well, I think a lot of drivers who are looking for the top times and top in their group, of course, if they have an advantage where some of the cooking guys are maybe choosing something else, they have that, over them slightly as we make our way through the second stage.
Oh, Punju!
Delta, oh gosh.
But there's literally no way to tell which trees are going to kill you and which ones aren't.
That's a lot of damage, as what infamous
that's a lot
TV
of damage.
used to say. Front radiator, front windscreen, all looking a little bit cracked. And I think that thankfully he will have a service stage. More weight reduction happening for himself as well, as we have lost a door on the left-hand side, and I think almost on the right-hand side as well. Pudgy, though, looking rather unfazed.
Doors are only suggestions. Let's be honest.
It's weight saving.
It's weight saving at the end of the day. I mean, it's a smart move by Punju. Wants to get rid of as much weight as possible. I think he's made a clever play there.
Yeah, tactical in all of his elements is Punju. He's well thought out. He afforded a couple of seconds for the spin, of course, got rid of a load of weight on the car, and that's absolutely incredible rallymanship, just making sure that he's pre-planned ahead. And apparently we're being told Aerotech picked Punju's car this week, as Rip the stream, he's driving too hard, and the trees, as it always does, has interfered with our signal.
And that is why most people cut trees, because it deals with Twitch interference.
Now, if you ever watch a rally broadcast in real life, you quite often have interference in the actual stream as they're driving through forest because they can't get the signal back to their broadcast truck because of all the trees causing interference. So
that's why there's so many piles of logs everywhere. It makes sense now.
It's actually a real thing. So me and Ija have had this running joke back from season 1, where if ever we have a bit of a connection issue or a broadcast looking not necessarily too smooth, we just claim it's the trees causing interference.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm happy to go along with that for sure. As we have just finished the lap with Aerotech. Stage run with Aerotech. It's a 12-17, I believe.
Yeah, it's 12-17. That's going to be about 35th place.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. He'll be happy with that, I think. And I'm sure we'll be able to chat to him about it in just a couple of moments' time.
Yep, he's coming now, and we've got Aerotech in the box. It's man's just finished his first 2 stages, the longest 2 stages of course, Rally Chile. But I've got to ask the most important question here, Aerotech. Let's talk about your outfit choice here this afternoon. We want to know about the headband and what it says on your shirt as well.
Oh, headband. I woke up and was like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. My name's Keenan. I'm Irish enough. So I wanted to do something, and then we're doing a lot of sliding here, a lot of hand braking. So I'm representing the Noriyaro, the Alexi from Japan. If anyone's seen the beer can skyline or into drift culture, you know exactly who I'm talking about. It's been in the scene for a long time, and I'm doing laundry is my excuse. But yeah, we're hoping to channel some sideways action today. There's a lot of hand brakes, a lot of really like tight complexes. It's like let's put it best. It's like a dirt toge, basically. It's so mountain road and everything's so tight and every corner flows into another. So that's hopefully translate to a good result today. We just got a really good stage time, so good start.
Yeah, it's looked like a good run from your first couple. I mean, top 40 time in that most recent stage. I think it was something not too bad in the first one as well. Long stages, majority of them anyway, out of the way. Just one more long one to go in stage 8. But is the confidence high heading into the middle sector here?
The dark, it's basically going to be night now for a while. In practice yesterday, we were pretty good at the power stage, and towards the end. But a lot of these downhill stages, for those who are watching who haven't driven this before, every rally in EA Sports kind of has their own little quirks to the pace notes, and a lot of rallies where it'll be like, oh, here's a 4, and then you'll take it at what you think is a 4 and go, wow, that was pretty slow. Chile is the exact opposite in my experience because there's so much downhill and the incline is so aggressive, and we're about to go into probably some of the most downhill stages we've done so far. Where you'll hear 5 and go, I could do that almost flat out, and then you're not even close to making the corner. So that's kind of just the mentality right now. I kind of hate driving like that, where I'm just like, I'm going to be careful and hope people make mistakes, but it's so easy to make a mistake here, and there's stumps on the inside of every corner. There's it's tight, so there's rock faces on the outside. Like, it's really hard to get away with one here. So you can cut a lot and you can push, but the punishment for a mistake is pretty brutal. So hopefully we could just keep the speed up. Again, I'm thrilled with how fast that time was in stage 2. Obviously we're using the sweaty car and a lot of people aren't, but I'm kind of nowhere in creators points. I'm 56th overall, and I'm trying to get to the top 50 by the end of the season. So this is a good start.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to talk about the car choice and everything sort of surrounding that. You're in the C4 this afternoon, which I think is agreed amongst the creators is the rather meta pick for this car class. But we're also being told you chose Punju's car for this run and obviously have put him in the Peugeot 206.
Yeah, he picked the sweaty car last week, and then going into the power stage, he's bet that I couldn't finish within 15 seconds of his power stage time in the Opel Atom. Unlucky for him, that was like the stage I had practiced by far the most. So in a stage where I should have been 10 seconds down just on pace, I would think I was 12 seconds off of him, and Punch is pretty quick. So I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to give himself some credit, but when he doesn't hit anything, he's bad fast. So yeah, I was gonna let him pick the Mini, which is usually his car for this class, Then I went and watched his VOD from his live stream, which you could watch at twitch.tv/Punju. And he said, I'm making Aero pick, and I quote, the crappiest car that in the class if I win. So yeah, enjoy the Peugeot. They won a championship in it. Cohom won some rallies. You should be all right. I don't know.
Amazing
You'll
stuff.
be fine.
Alex,
Everything's fine.
anything for Aerotech before we let him hop on with the rest of his rallies?
No, I just wanted to mention, is there any stages coming up that you're not really looking forward to? I know you mentioned about the night. Obviously, it's a long night running for the next couple, but is there any stages you're really worried about running now?
Stage 3. I think if you talk to Ryan, he'll probably tell you the same thing. Again, it's so downhill, and you don't have brakes, you don't have steering, and there's no runoff here at all. Like, it's trees, rocks. So if you go a bit too deep into a corner, you're gonna hit something, and you'll be lucky if you bounce off a post and keep going. And then you've got to carry that damage throughout the stage, maybe 2 stages. So. And it's so easy to push, especially when you're on the level or going uphill. You go, oh, I could go faster, and then you get to these downhill inclines, and you have to reset your brain. So, stage 3 and 4, I think you're going to see some moments here. Hopefully, not for me, but I think you're going to see some moments here.
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck to
crossed.
you, Aerotech. Thank you so much for hopping in for a chat with us.
Thank you, mate.
Well, that is the level of petty that I quite
that's
often
a-
aspire to with himself. And speaking of Ryan, we're going to pull him in for a bit of a chat. And not only we're going to have a chat with him, he's going to take us through the 3rd stage as well.
Oh.
Ryan, welcome in. Of course, we had you on last week. You commentated stage for us. We said, you know what? We really enjoyed doing that. Let's get you in to do it again. And you've graced us with your presence once forth.
Yes, hello, you two, and hello, everybody watching. Yeah, I don't know why I said this, because it's the one stage I'm dreading the most tonight, so... But for entertainment and content, you're getting a treat tonight.
That's exactly what we want to see. We spoke to Aerotech a couple of moments ago. He's chosen the C4. Why don't you run us through quickly your car choice for this afternoon? I think you're running... memories fail with me here. What are you running? C4 as well.
I'm running the C4, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a car. I think we tried to do a bit of a gentleman's agreement for myself. Who else is there? Commander Buzz, JBH, and Andy, because we're all quite close in the championship. But in the end, we just thought, like, because me and Andy had a great battle last week where we went to the last stage to see who won the rally. We thought, sod it, we'll, you know, go in whatever car we won, have another rematch tonight. So, yeah, I mean, this car's good. I mean, it was this or the Subaru 08 car or 09 car, I think it was. But both have got different characteristics. But this one, even though it's quite meaty on the tyres, it likes to... I may struggle on the next 2. No spoilers. But I love this car. It's a very nice, nimble car, and has its perks, has its not so good perks. But as we're here for Create Series, it's for a laugh, it's for fun, and see how we get on tonight. But don't expect me to win like I did last week, because it's not gone well so far after one stage in particular.
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck with your stage. For folks at home, if you're wondering, Andy is encephalosis. But Ryan, we'll hand over to you on this stage. Alex, me and you get a free stage off. We're going to let Ryan do his thing. And
He has to pronounce the stage though if he wants to commentate it.
I've missed it now. It just appeared and it's disappeared. So
It's Chilavingo. Good luck.
there you go. So this is Chilavingo. Should be quite an interesting stage, this one. As I said, not the strongest stage for me, but we'll see how we get on. Very tricky first sector, as you're going to see shortly. As we're going to go green, green, green. Off we go. Take a little bit of a cut here, which you can do. Risky though. You don't want to hit the tree on the inside. Now the big factor for the next 2 stages for me is tyres, because the hards that I'm running again are not going to be at their optimal at the minute, so grip's going to be an issue for me. Halfway to near the end of the stage. But this stage is going to be very tricky. Lots of quick turns, blind corners, as you can see the grip slightly gone off a little bit, but we'll take it for now. But Chile, new rally for me, of course. Into unknown territory, so hopefully I'm not going to do what I did in Mexico and have a little... I say that, and they're just on the junker, so there you go. Anyway, carrying on. We're going to taking a little bit more cautiously now, I think, with that little bit of damage. Damage is going to be a factor as well in the rally. It's going to be all about survival is the key to the rally, I think, for a lot of people. But you can see already 2.5 seconds down on my personal best time, not on the rally time. But you may recognize some of the stage because it was what we just run in stage 2, which is the last half of the stage. So it's basically a repeat again. But now you may have noticed I've turned off the... I'm just trying to make around the hairpin turn. The lights off. It's preference for me. I really prefer this because I can see a bit more of the gravel, but of course the disadvantage to this is you may not see some rocks on the right side where the trees are. It's going to be very tricky to get this right, but going to be very cautiously going to play this absolutely safe because this next bit's going to be very difficult to get right on worn hard tyres. As you can see, getting a lot of snap there as we go into a little bit of openness now. So we're going to go up the mountain up ahead very shortly, but we've got this little sector to be very cautious on because as you can see, loads of wood everywhere and we don't want to hit any of that or you're going to get mega damage. So as we're going to go uphill a little bit now, got a very tricky hairpin turn coming up, handbrake turn. Going to try and take as much of it as possible, but someone got away with that a little bit. So this next section is going to be very, very tricky. It's mainly flat, but you've got to be ballsy to do this flat out completely, especially on worn tyres like myself. So you're going to see me being a little bit cautious here than what I would normally do. But just resting the car to try and save the car as much as I can. A little bit of a snap there as well, but we're doing, I would say, okay to be on the conservative side of this stage. We've got a hairpin turn coming up very shortly, very tricky one to get right. But here it comes now. Looks can be deceiving. It's like it's going to be an easy hairpin turn, but then last minute it turns in a little bit more tighter. So you've got to maybe put the handbrake on a little bit, but we shall see. Got an even more tighter hairpin, so handbrake is enabled. Coming to the last part now, which is going to be very tricky sector, this one. You can cut a bit of the corners, but you just got to be careful of the trees on the right-hand side and some rocks as well. And some little bushes as well. Like that, but you can get away with that. Just about, so thankfully that helped us a little bit. So we're going to go up the hill now for another tricky sector coming up. Being very cautious there to avoid the rock on the inside. Take a little bit of the wall there. Nearly got away with it. When you could take a little bit of exploit there, but into the one left-hander. Should really be a 2 left because you can see there I took it in second gear. Into the hairpin turn. So you can take 2 lines through here. You can be really tight, or you can do what I did there. Entry wide, and then go for a tighter line if possible. Take a little bit of grass on the left-hand side. As we're coming into the last part of the stage 3. Tricky 2 right here. Looks can be deceiving. And then this corner in particular is probably one of the danger corners because it sounds like a 3 right, but it's theoretically a 2 right. Based on what car you're driving, of course. This square right is really a 1 right, to be honest. It doesn't really feel like a square, so you could take it second gear. Again, got to be careful of the bushes. They look friendly, but they're not. Some of them will destroy your car. And I mean literally destroy your car. Gotta keep it on the track now. Tyres are absolutely struggling now as we go up the hill. Luckily, we've only got one more stage after this on these worn tyres. Coming to the end of the stage now. Very tricky corner coming up now, this free-hander, left-hander. You've got to go in second gear if you want that turn in, and it's absolutely flat up the hill. which we'll do the reverse of later on, where it's going to be deadly for a lot of people. We cross the line and... Oh wait, it's not the line, it's here. Lost a bit of time, but we'll take it anyway. We survived the stage with no lights on. Again, it's preference to anybody. I would personally have the lights on, but we made it to the end, and I have no idea where that's going to put me, but the main thing is we survived. So that's whatever it is. I can't pronounce Chilean stage names, so apologies.
Amazing stuff, Ryan. Thank you ever so much for
Thank you,
once
Ryan.
again taking us through another stage. I think that's what, P49, if I can count down to that many numbers. Yeah, 49th.
Yeah.
On the stage. So again, I think that's within the top 50. Very respectable that time, especially since you were commentating for our audience. But massive thanks, and I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
Pleasure, boys. Pleasure.
Thank you. Well, we're also being told in the back here, whilst Ryan was doing his run, we've had a few issues with Eyes Amusing. Now, let's see. Multiple people may call it many different things. The game may call it an issue. Eyes Amusing may call it an issue with something else. Gareth Allen, our producer, may call it a skill issue. Alas, what we're being told, and when I did go ask Eyes Amusing whilst Ryan was doing his run, I said, "What happened there, pal?" And he said he got a puncture and the game didn't give him a set of spare tyres. Well, I think he just hasn't selected a set of spare tyres. I'm going to go with Gareth on this one and say that's a skill issue.
It sounds like a skill issue. I mean, we weren't even watching his lap, so we weren't even commentating cursing it. So it's not on us. I mean, so if you don't know what this means, folks, for anyone tuning in, this will mean that he has to run this puncture, I believe, well, until the end of this stage and possibly the next one, or can he change it at the next stage?
No, he would have got a service point at the end of Sector 2. So this is Sector 3 we're seeing the run Rives just run for us. So he will have the ability to pick up, I believe, fresh. I might actually be wrong on that if memory serves me. He'd have to switch tyres to get rid of the puncture, but obviously he'll have to take that on the chin and I think take a set of hard tyres now, 7 stages should he want to go that long. But of course, hopefully he's taken spares with him and hopefully he has something to try and pull back if he still has any hope of winning this championship here at present. But it was fantastic to see Ryan once again commentating stage. John, aka Eyes Amusing, is going to be doing stage 8 slightly later on. I'm presuming he's still good for it, even though his tyres will be absolutely balding by the sounds of it, probably more so than GB and Team and Malik put together. But it's looking rather smooth for Eyes Amusing at the moment.
What about Gareth Allen on top of that?
I don't know, maybe not that close. A duo together, certainly so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Gareth is another level of that, but anyway, that's fine. We don't talk about that anymore. He's not here right now. But we are with Eyes Amusing, who looks like he's concentrating a lot. So you didn't hear any of that, did you? Good, great. As Eyes Amusing is still running very well in his meat car, as we call it, even with a struggling puncture.
Yeah, I think he's got his mind pretty focused later on. Maybe he's thrown away the possibility of winning everything overall and maybe is focusing for the power stage. I think a lot of it will be focusing on just getting to the end of this stage. Who said lap? I have no idea who said lap here.
It wasn't me. I didn't say lap at all. You wouldn't find me saying lap on a WRC broadcast. Yeah, we're here on I'm going to try and pronounce it again. I think it's Chivavingo, I think is how you say it. Chivavingo. Oof, goodness me, that looked very dangerous. It's not got an L in it though. Oh, it does.
It does.
Chivalingo. Chivalingo, that's how you say it. Here in Rally Chile. You have to say Chile like that, even though it's Chile. But that's just the way I say it. Hopefully he doesn't go off the edge here. He doesn't. He's kept it very nice and clean. I don't know why I'm invited back on these WRC broadcasts. I honestly don't.
We run out of other quiz. Not joking.
Yeah. I mean, there's no one else. It's a Monday evening, guys. No one else is available. No. Eyes Amusing is doing very well so far on his stage 3, and Vlembar as well, also on stage 3. I mean, if these guys had heard that Eyes Amusing has a puncture, I'm sure they will be delighted to hear that they may be able to catch up some points in the championship overall. I mean, can Eyes Amusing win the championship today?
Also, I mean, anything's possible at the moment. I think he can secure it. He was, 22 points clear heading into this, so I think he only needs to come about 4th to be able to secure it over Kamikaze. So there is still chance for him some good points in the power stage, full 5. Would do it, and I believe all he has to do is outscore everybody else, or outscore Kamikaze.
How is Kamikaze doing?
Well, that's probably one thing you should check on. I think Kamikaze has been rather quiet, actually, over the course of this run. I'm just going to get racing it up as we see Blembar across the line, 5:58 for his second run.
5:58, that is a top 15 time, I believe. Blembar, the reason why Kamikaze we haven't heard much from him, he's been blinded by the lights.
He finished the stage though. That's the last time.
Where was he? 6:08 overall for the third stage? For Cammy, let's have a look.
Has he been finished inside the top 20?
That's what I'm trying to find overall. Where would he be? Ryan's 28th overall at the moment. Oh, he's 36th. He's 36th overall after stage 3 is Kamikaze.
Okay.
I've now got to find out where our co-commentator or our partner.
He's 36 in the. That's stage 1.
He's probably not there for that one. Don't forget he had a poor
know.
stage 2, so he might be even further down. I think he's looking around
Consider he lost a lot of time,
68
so
potentially.
Yes. Yes, I think you're probably right.
I will keep looking.
Are we on step? We're on stage 4 now, are we?
We
With
are
Punju
heading
and
on stage
Aerotech.
4. Oh, 97th overall is
Oh.
always amusing.
Right, and for
That's disgusting.
The fact that he had a puncture and still is top 100 is outstanding, though.
Yes, that's it's disgusting in the way of how has he managed to pull that off.
I have one good stage and I'm proud to make it into the top 100. And this man has a stinker and still stays in the top 100.
nice.
I mean, have we done a test on this man? I mean, has he been tested? That's what I need
He
to
has. He's
find
been
out.
tested multiple times over Esports World Championships, and for some reason, he's still running. He's absolutely incredibly quick on his day, and there's a reason he was an Esports WRC, I think semi-finalist or something like that. No, finalist. He was a semi-runner-up or something like that. Yeah, runner-up.
This feels
He's a
lot
runner-up.
faster than last
Oh, he didn't even win it.
2 stages they've done.
He didn't. He didn't. He was always the bridesmaid, unfortunately.
No
in
one
Esports
remembers
WRC.
no one remembers the losers, TK. That's what they say. They only remember the wins.
sure.
That was a big hit from Bungie there. He just tapped it for good measure again on the way out. We are now on stage 4, as we mentioned. This is Rio
Ideal.
Clara? That's not good. It's Claro.
Rio
Claro?
Yeah.
Claro. It's Rio something. And this is an 8.2 kilometer stage, so relatively short compared to some of the others the drivers have been on today.
Yeah, similar to what we saw in stage 3, and again, drivers will be struggling with their tyres at this point. I think that's the thing that I think a lot of people will be worrying about. We heard from Ryan that even in stage 3 he was struggling with the hard starting to depreciate, and they've got one more stage on them. If they're sticking to the typical plan, there may be an opportunity for drivers to differentiate from that hard medium plan that they've originally laid out. Punju's already coming to the end of this stage, 6:17 across the line. A bit of a fist bump there as well, looking rather happy with his time, and I think that could be a top 100 now. Not just within the top 100. Yeah, Aerotech 6:15, just a couple seconds off as well. That's definitely about 90th at the moment.
Yeah, that puts him, I think, exactly 90th, I believe. Well done, TK. That was a good guess, my friend. Unless you have them up in front of you.
I do.
And Cephalosis is running also on stage 4 here. He's looking very much locked in with his Spanish national team shirt on. And we've got a Punju interview, and here comes the man called Punju. Currently doesn't have a camera, so we can't see what his face looks like, but don't worry, our producer is on it. Punju, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you guys?
Are we
Much
doing
better
great,
for
mate?
seeing your face.
Yeah, now we can see
Oh,
your
you
face.
shucks. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, darn it. This is
How's the rally been?
I'm mad at Aerotech and all of his compatriots that helped him sabotage me today, dude. It's so hard. This car, holy smokes.
Yeah, you're in the Peugeot 206. We spoke to Aero earlier about a slight bet that you guys had last week, and I think some power stage wagers that may have occurred.
Yes. I think you pronounced the car wrong though. You said Peugeot? You mean
Peugeot.
Peugeot? No, it's Peugeot.
It's
This car is
Peugeot,
absolute
of course.
poo. Yes, it is. It
That,
is
that must be
terrible.
the American pronunciation.
Exactly. It is right now, that's for sure. Holy smokes! I mean, it's fun. Like I think it's got potential to be a good car, but it's just like learning its idiosyncrasies and how to drive it is very different. Most cars like are relatively reactive. Like you think of like the Mini Cooper, you can kind of leave it late. You can do some last minute twitches and stuff like that and save stuff pretty decently. Yeah, well, this car, nuh-uh. If you're not planned 6 business days in advance for what you're about to do next, you are done for.
Yeah, it seems to be, I think, a common theme that we've had across a few cars and a few a few car classes over the rally season. But the Peugeot, I think, is the one we've had potentially the most complaints about in the shortest amount of time, if I'm starting to count them up from yourself here. But we're about halfway through, onto the halfway stage in stage 5. How are you feeling with your chances? Is there any positives that you can take from this afternoon?
I was about to say I have a positive where I'm going to have a fully, working car. It's going to be totally repaired because I did just finally repair everything. But somehow I got only 10 seconds over the repair limit, so I still got a 10-second penalty. That's brutal. I do have positives to the fact that I finally got a top 100 in the last stage. And I think if I obviously avoid DNFs, avoid punctures, there's a pretty reasonable chance that like I can do decent. I'm on new tires now too. I'm gonna go hards for 4 more and then run a set of mediums for the power stage. It seems like that's what everybody's doing. So yeah, I think I have a shot to do decently all right on these next 5 stages.
Amazing stuff. I think, as you said, following the same strategy that I think most of the other drivers are running as well. But Alex, any questions for Punji before we let him run his next 4?
No, just mention, of course, we did the 2 longest stages to start with. We've got another about 16-kilometer stage coming up. But a lot of people were scared of stage 3, which was 2 stages ago. Is there any stages you are not looking forward to coming up that you think you're going to struggle on the most?
I think the power stage in of itself, Walkie, is tough. I don't think it's going to be the ones that's going to take me out. Don't get me wrong, but it is not going to be an easy run. So yeah, nothing that I'm inherently like not looking forward to, but I know Walkie and Las Pataguas, or Las Pataguas, that's what it is, number 7, are both going to be pretty tough. So it's just a matter of survival. And I also have 2 night stages right now. 5th and 6th are night stages. So don't hit the front end of the car and break your lights. That's important.
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck to you, Punj. I'm sure we'll speak to you a little bit later on as well, see how you got on with the night stages.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Well, 2 more night stages to carry on with. Before we hop on to those, we've got Andy, also known as Ancephalosis, the man that Alex has been dying to ask a question since the start of this stream. Ancephalosis, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Happy it's Rally Monday. Definitely my favorite part of the week. How are you guys all doing?
Yeah, doing very good. Alex, I'll pass it over to you almost immediately to ask your question.
It's the most important question I think you're going to be answered on Rally. Is out of all the players, who's your favourite Spanish national team player? Because you're wearing a Spanish national team shirt, so you must have one.
Yeah. No. Wow. Was this an expose? I couldn't name a single player on the Spanish national team. I'm sorry. So
Can I ask why you're wearing a special national team shirt then?
Again, is this an expose or are we here So I have 2 football jerseys. They're football jerseys. I have 2 of them, and they're both kind of somewhat travel story-ish jerseys. Like this is from Spain. My sister got this for me when we traveled to Spain together on a family trip. And then you guys might have seen the other one I have is the Egyptian national jersey, and I'm half Egyptian. And again, we got that when we were traveling in Egypt. So both of my 2 football jerseys are very special to me, but no, I couldn't name a player on the Spanish national team. I've been fully exposed live in 3K on multiple channels at once.
Well, we'll now go on to the rally questions. We obviously had our first 4 stages. The 2 long stages at the start, and of course we had 2 shorter stages. We're now going into the night stage of Rally Chile. How have you been enjoying it so far? And of course, you've been racing. What car have you been racing in this evening as well?
I'm in the Subaru, which I'm excited about. We love to be in a Subaru. I feel at home in the Subi. Chile, I mean, man, this is definitely one of my favorite rallies in theory, but I just haven't driven it very much. I do love the almost like gravel toge vibe to it. It's just like nonstop left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's got a great vibe to it, Chile. I don't know it well enough. And man, you guys know me, I'm a fiend for a good cut, and I've been caught off guard a few times by some stumps on the inside. So I'm trying to tell myself to keep it kind of in the middle of the road as best I can, try to avoid those cut landmines they've got.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I think we're probably a couple of moments out from your run time. I'm not 100% sure. We see Aerotech on our screen going on the left-hand side. Talk us through tyres very quickly. What's your approach been? I'm guessing you're probably following similar to what everybody else has been running hard mediums.
Yeah, I honestly haven't sat down and looked at the numbers, so yes, I'm kind of blindly following the pack today on that one. I'm going to go hard 4 stages, hard 4 stages, and then medium for that power stage at the end there. It looks like that about tracks. It looks like the front half has got more mileage, so the second half, or these next 4 stages rather, should be a little easier on the tires then, just based on the mileage there. And then the power stage should be a cakewalk in terms of tires. But man, I have to tell you guys, I only practiced the first 2 stages, so everything from here is really literally shooting in the dark. So pray for me in my headlights.
Well, shooting in the dark, literally and figuratively, I'm assuming. Alex, unless you got anything else for encephalosis, I think we'll let him get on with his runs.
No, I was just going to say, I'll let you go encephalosis, but next time you better have a Spanish national team favourite player when we speak to you next time. So,
sounds good.
Yes.
On the Egyptian team, it would have to be Mohamed Salah.
Of course. That's a good choice. But yeah, honestly, mate, thank you, and good luck on the next stage of the rally as well.
Thank you very much. Pleasure, guys.
Oh, lovely. Well, I think following the pack could be the decision a few of our drivers have been choosing, especially in terms of tyres. Aerotech making its way through the penultimate of the night stage at the moment, stage 5, Yumble, which sounds like a crumble brand.
It does. I like that name, Yumble. I wonder what it means. Maybe our producer can find out for us.
We are being told we've got time.
We'll ask Kamikaze. Maybe he'll know.
Yeah, let's ask Kamikaze. Get him in for a chat. No mention of puddles though this week. I think let's not offend him too much. Kamikaze, welcome in. How's the first 4 stages been treating you this week?
Okay. Nothing more than that. It's okay. We are we are up there, but we don't have the pace yet, so we've done some setup changes just to test the car, and I don't have so much to say actually.
I think it's probably been a benefit to you this week. Obviously, I'm sure you've probably heard the news Isam using with his puncture in the second stage and having to drag the car towards the line, a little bit of a trap there. I'm sure that must have been a relief when you heard it.
Yes and no. Of course, we need a fair competition, and that's why we done a gentleman's agreement this week as well. We take a shit box of a car and try to have some fun. And unfortunately, I also had some bad luck on stage 1 and stage 2. So, but the other guys had bad luck other rallies. So, yeah. Of course, we want to see a clean fight through the whole rally, but this is rallying. We don't know where the next obstacle hit us.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to the next 5 stage and the power stage at the end. How are you feeling with your chances after those setup changes? Confident, or maybe some work still to do?
We had some more work to do, but we are confident in the power stage, so we are on a hard medium strategy. So we will just get through this one and try to get top 5 creators, so we have some points on the overall, and we try to go for the power stage victory.
Fantastic stuff. Alex, anything for Kamikaze?
Only just how you don't find that blue light distracting in your room, because it is incredibly bright on our screen. I don't know if this is bright in your room, but
it helps me to see the screen better when it's dark in the game.
Okay.
So that's why I have blue. So I have tried different colors. I can take it white, but then I don't see the what you call it. I don't see the obstacle in the dark so good. So that's why I've used blue.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Smart.
That's smart. yeah, thank you, mate, for coming for chatting with us, and good luck for the rest of your stages. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you later towards the end. Let's see how you've gone on with.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Amazing stuff. Kamikaze, I can never figure out sometimes because he sounds Swedish sometimes. The other times he sounds Irish. Another time he sounds like Kimi Räikkönen back when he used to do interviews in Formula One with just one word answers. But if you were making Kamikaze, they're the three people or three characteristics I'd probably drag together to make a perfect Kamikaze. But on the middle ground, Aerotech here, looking incredibly focused. Look at that stance.
I mean, he is as zoomed in as you possibly can be, as he's got to avoid these very large. Oh, why do I even speak? I don't even why I bother speaking, because Aerotech has gone sliding into them. I've got to ask, why are they there?
So they're a chicane, Alex. They're there to slow the cars down and perform an obstacle for our WRC drivers. And interestingly, in most recent years, or I think in the last season of WRC, they've included something called, I think it's called a virtual chicane, where drivers have to slow down to a set speed, and once they've hit said speed, they can then speed back up. It's a partial safety thing and a partial obstacle thing, especially when we're at high-speed courses or rallies like we find ourselves at the moment. If there's an increasingly obstacle like on the outside and you're at a particularly fast zone, the chicane is there to slow the car and the driver down naturally, as opposed to them, flying off a cliff.
That's a decent time there from Aerotech, I believe. 5:46, correct?
Yeah.
Should get inside the top 60, so I think he'll be relatively happy. Oh, well, actually, he doesn't look relatively happy with that at all. I've just
I mean, he did crash into a bale.
He's crashed into a few things, yeah. I mean, it wasn't just the bale. He had a few incidents on that lap. As JPH is also going to come up towards the bales now. Will he avoid them? Yes, he will. Staggeringly avoid them. Everyone held their breaths for a moment there. As Commander Biz is also coming towards the end of their run. It's a 5:32. That is good enough for a top 20 time. I believe that's just outside the top 10 as well.
That's a fantastic time for a few of our drivers coming across. The Scooby looks impeccable. Personally, one of my favourite cars that actually was ever created. Mr. Dale coming in with the rain as well. Welcome everybody from the council crew. You got Chef Dale back in action by the sounds of it.
Oh yeah.
And hope you had a lovely afternoon. JPH up towards the line as well here.
As it's a 5:34, which again is a top 15 time, or just outside of it. Another fantastic. This is why we love WRC Mondays, because everyone is so close to each other, no matter what car they are racing.
Absolutely, and I think sometimes you will have the meta car. We've said that before, and we've seen that some cars are probably more suited to conditions than others. And you can see by that leaderboard there, the C4 seems rather inclined to the conditions it finds itself in at the moment. Kamikaze and Vlemba just moments away from getting started. But the gentleman's agreement, the behind-the-scenes agreements that we won't necessarily hear about until a Monday, are the things I love, not only about rallying, but also the community that we have here at the WRC Creator Series as well. That they want that competition there naturally, so they're almost handicapping themselves to produce a good race amongst each other.
Yeah, because I mean, they could all go in the fastest car. They could all say, yeah, we're all going to go in the Citroen 4 and say, let's see who's the fastest driver. But no, they've all decided to give themselves a little bit of a challenge, make themselves a little bit more difficult to see what they can do competing. Because obviously some of the slower drivers, and there's not really that many slow drivers, to be honest with you. There is drivers that are fast, and there's drivers that are relatively fast as well, but maybe not as fast as the fastest drivers. I've said that in a Will Buxton scenario that no one can write. But it is fantastic to see, and from the little I've commentated on WRC here in Creator Series, I've enjoyed every moment of it, and long may it continue.
Oh, I'll certainly so. It's one of my favourite things to do, not only online, but also with Creator Series as well. It's fantastic to just get involved and see how the rallying community comes together, because they have done in such a fantastic way. The support and all the streams, the guys and girls that sit and watch this on every Monday, which has been fantastic, has been received so well, not only internally, but by EA Sports as well, who've been so good at pushing out the club to everybody. I think the members list is a staggering number now. 7.8 thousand members.
Wow.
I remember back in the day when we were hoping, or at least the management team were hoping for either 50 or 500, I can't remember which. 50 members they were hoping to join, and we're staggeringly, exorbitantly past that.
That's ridiculous, really. I mean, just trying to think of that number. Think of how big that number is and how many people you can get. That's a Wokingham stand in a Wokingham Stadium.
That actually is. We could fit 6,000 people in our stand at Woking.
Yeah.
We can't fit everybody in the club there, unfortunately. But also, we're only about 100 members off the official Skoda Motorsport Club, which in itself is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, let's beat Skoda. Come on, let's do it. We can get that sorted. And of course, TK. There's someone else we have to thank for always putting on Create Series, don't we? And WRC, because he loves it so much when we mention it.
We'll shout about the industry. That's how we always.
Yeah. No, but he'll end the stream. He'll end the stream if we mention it. We have to do it now, so we can't end it.
We'll do it at the end of the stream. That's fine. Massive Create Series land event at Woking said. Well, I'll have you know it's Kingfield. If you look at my when I stand up, it's in the background. Or the Laithwaite Community Stadium for sponsorship reasons. Kamikaze! Oh! Sorry to cut you off there, Alex, but Kamikaze got all sorts of loose as we headed through the 6th stage there, just catching a tree.
Yeah, sorry, I was mid-eating a jammy dodger, so it was kind of difficult to speak anyway. But yeah, Kamikaze very much going into the tree there. Did carry on a bit, but yeah, this is, even with Musing's problems, it's not going fantastic for Kamikaze.
He hasn't found the balance in that car at the moment. That's something we talked about with him. He said he made some setup changes, but of course that takes time to even adapt to. He'll have done 4 stages on dying tyres, and now he finds himself with fresh tyres again. And the car's different to what it was 4 stages ago, and he's really got to put aside everything he's learned about the car. The setup changes will make it different to handle, and I think that's what we're really starting to discover here. It might have been a minor setup change, but he doesn't feel confident in it.
Yeah, you never want to go down a setup rabbit hole of just changing your setup to try and get yourself to go faster. I mean, it's going to be an F1 example, but that's what I'm best at. I mean, in 2013, when Jenson Button was driving in his McLaren, he went down a setup rabbit hole so much that in Brazil, at the end of the race, at the end of the season, he qualified 16th because he kept changing his setup and getting worse and worse, even though he should have been getting better and better.
Absolutely. Sometimes changing things doesn't necessarily pay off that you want it to do so. And as you said, we've heard Charles Leclerc quite famously on the radio just telling his engineers to stop inventing over the course of races. But back to our rally action here. Vlembar, Kamikaze, Quanton and Eyes Amusing, 4 very quick drivers here in the WRC Create Series. And it's incredible to watch them all at the same time, all with slightly different techniques and styles.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, not one driver has the same technique. They're all racing very different cars, apart from actually 3 of them are racing the same car. One of them is racing a very different car, I should point out, and it is Eyes Amusing in the Seat. But it is incredible, as you say. I mean, some of these drivers are absolutely mega at what they do, and it's a pleasure to sit here and be able to watch them do it. I mean, Eyes Amusing, he is a very humble man, but he is incredibly fast as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember when we first got Eyes Amusing in the broadcast, it was incredible to have him in, but he was so humble about how quick he was. He was one of those drivers that would just hop in and set time after time after time. And the commitment and the dedication was fascinating. And he could just jump in and basically do a time that I could never dream of. And it's just incredible that he'll stand there and go, oh, I'm not that fast. It's like, he is. I'm saying this now, he is.
He is that fast. I mean, he may want to joke about when he's in the box that, you know, we don't talk about who's top of the standings, but it's not him being arrogant, it's just him not wanting to actually tell you how good he actually is, because he really is. I mean, if he drove the C4 today, instead of, you know, his meme car, he may be a lot faster than the drivers, but the gentleman agreement allows people to be around his time. And I mean, it's not like it massively slows him down. He's still incredibly fast. He's had a few unlucky moments in the rally. I'm sure we'll get to talk to him soon. He is going to be commentating the, was it the 8th stage?
Yeah.
Or the 7th stage? 8th stage, just before the power stage. And he is coming towards the end of that run. Kamikaze, I believe, has finished his run on stage 5. I'm not sure where he ended up. Flembar in 3rd. What a what a stage run that is by Vlembar. 5:23. And Eyes Amusing not washed, as it says. 5:25 for Eyes Amusing in that car around that stage. I believe that puts him. Where does that put him on the?
5th.
Puts him at 5th.
Yeah.
That is in the meme car. He goes 5th on stage 5, and he's only Vlembar did a 5:23. Eyes Amusing 5:25. He was only about 2 seconds off of the man who was in the Citroen, and that is quite incredible indeed.
That is a fantastic run from Eyes Musing, nothing short of it. And in one stage alone, bear in mind, last time he checked in, he was in 97th place overall. He's pulled that back to 64th.
Dude, you asked me off stage ago. That car does not make that corner.
And we have seen Punji
Yeah,
there taking a
he's,
little bit of a spin in the
yeah.
the little
So
piece of
fucking
206.
bad.
He's not enjoyed that. He was. I was trying to listen to what he was saying, but it didn't really make much sense to me.
Was it French?
It wasn't French. No, he wasn't speaking French. I understand French. I don't. That's it.
He turned around to us before the broadcast started and just said to Gareth, "Have fun with my French pace notes."
Oh.
Oh, sorry, Isaac. Yeah, I thought we were talking about Isaac. My apologies.
No, we were talking about Punju because we're watching
my
Punju.
apologies.
He crashed. See?
forgot
World-class
my French.
commentator, they call him. That's what they call him. He doesn't even know what we're watching.
I don't know who calls me that, but they need their eyes checked rather recently. Ryan making their way through the stage, as is Ancephalosis. Both of them, of course, still under nighttime conditions. And I just want to point out how much darker it looks on Ancephalosis' screen. And are his lights flickering, or is that just the screen?
It's a horror film he's playing right now. This looks like a horror game. He's also sitting in the dark. Of course, I know that is a blacked out camera, but it doesn't look that inviting, to be honest with you. I mean, it looks like, someone's going to pop out of the woods and jump scare him, but hopefully that's not going to happen for Ancephalosis' case here. But he's got a couple of obstacles coming up. Hopefully he'll see them. Oh, he didn't see them. And radio damage, yes, indeed. I mean, they literally pop out of the darkness. You cannot see them coming. I know that says that the basement, still, you don't know where they're going to come up.
Yeah, I think the radiator damage, as you said, that will be causing the front lights to be missing, and I'm squinting, trying to figure out what is coming up ahead of him. I mean, the only reason I knew those bales were coming because the pace note said above the top of the screen, but if he'd not had the visual pace notes on the screen, I wouldn't have had a Scooby what was about to come his way. I can barely see where he's going, let alone what everything else is going out on the gravel as he turns right. You can see he's just trying to pull the car home at this point because it's pitch black. There's no other way to describe this at the moment.
Yeah, the council have clearly turned off the street lamps around this this stage. But Ancephalosis not enjoying that one as much. Aerotech, I believe, has just finished. Has he just finished stage 6, or is that stage 7 he's just finished? He's just finished stage 6, which was larger. And he's given a bit of a fist pump there. And I can tell you why he's given a fist pump, because he's put himself in, I believe, just the top 30 times.
Yeah, 36th, I think, for himself.
Aerotech, 35. Run. Yeah, 35, 5th.
Yeah.
Very good.
Fantastic
indeed.
run. Punchy, 243rd, 7 seconds worth of penalties as well. I think it's gone from bad to worse, Punchy, this afternoon. Hasn't necessarily found his groove as well. Ryan across the timing, 5:43. Great time.
That's the top 11.
Yeah.
I think that puts him above JPH, who was in 11th. On this stage. So let's see if that's updated. Just having a quick look at it now. Race
Person 12, one place behind
12.
JPH.
And what was the gap between them? It's about 2 seconds. So, I mean, JPH put in a good time to get himself to 11th. And we haven't actually spoken to Jam. Hopefully we'll have a chat with him a bit later. He's always a lovely man to chat to. And again, as I mentioned, he always drives with a face.
He certainly does, and I love the decor that he always has in his room, the little lights and everything going on. And generally, as you said, a really nice chap to talk to. I speak to him quite often after these broadcasts, and I think you can say this about everyone on the broadcast. They're so lovely to speak to, and I'm sure Gareth shares the same, what's the word for it? Everything else. But we are going to get JPH in for a bit of a chat. JPH, how has your rally been so far? You just beat off Ryan by about 0.4 of a second in the 6th stage there, so doing rather well amongst the creators.
Evening. Yeah, it's been quite a good rally. The odd mistake here and there, but it's been quite nice. I mean, I quite enjoy Chile. It reminds me of Great Britain stages a lot of the time, so it's good fun. It's good fun.
It certainly looked it, and we can see there's a little bit of damage to your car. I think nothing too major, only yellows, thankfully, able to be repaired. But were there a little bit of instance, little rocks catching you out? Is that where that's come from?
Yeah, it's just little taps here and there. The problem is with Chile, a lot of stuff's over crests or down when you're going down the hill. It's sometimes quite hard to stop the car if you're going just a touch too quick. So just a few nudges here and there, nothing too major.
Yeah, that's always good. And of course, 3 more stages to go, including the power stage of stage 9. How are you feeling about your chances heading into the final 3?
Well, chances are good if I finish. That's the big word. I mean, I had a bit of a scare after stage 3. The game crashed. So I had a little bit of a scare on that one. Luckily, it put me back in on stage 4, so I didn't take a maximum time, which was very, very lucky, I must admit. But yeah, no, if we get to the end, I think we've got a possibility of a strong result.
Amazing stuff. Alex, anything for JPH whilst we have him?
Yeah, just going to stage 7 now. Of course, it's a 17-kilometer one, or just 15.9 if you want to be pedantic about it. And I imagine you're running the same tyre strategy as everyone else, hard, or have you gone style?
Well, I mean, that would be telling now, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would be. Yeah.
Well, I'm just running some black round tyres, but we'll work out which ones we take in a minute.
Okay. All right, I like it. Man of mystery. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, good luck, JVH, for the rest of the rally, mate. And I'm sure we'll catch up with a bit later because you're looking very solid so far, mate.
Yeah, I think it's been a good event so far. So long may it continue for the last 20 miles.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, JPH. We'll catch you a little bit later, and we'll see how our drivers do on the final 3 stages. 2 to go, and then our power stage. Of course, those 5 bonus points could come in crucial for a couple of our drivers, especially if they want to compare their chances in the championship to that of Jenson Button in 2009, winning, or at least surviving, by a hair's breadth.
Yeah, certainly do. A lot of Jenson Button mention in this stream. I thought you were going to say, can we get Jenson Button in for an interview now? I don't think he's around, Gareth. But yeah, let's get Commander Biz in for an interview. He's no Jenson Button, but he's certainly proving a very good commodity this afternoon. How are you doing, mate, Commander Biz? It's been looking very good so far during the first 6 stages. Going on stage 7 now. How you been feeling?
You know, not feeling too bad, honestly. I struggle here generally, so I'm just trying to stay alive and get to the end of each stage and hope that results in a positive finish.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looked positive so far. You put in a cracking stage time, I believe, was it in stage 6? It looked very good indeed. Now going on to stage 7, which is our 17-kilometer stage once again. I assume maybe you don't want to give it away, but you're on the same strategy as everyone else, hard, medium, going towards the medium for the power stage?
Yep, yeah, generally power stage points are like my best chance to try to stay, competitive in the point standing. So that's the route I'm going.
I think it seems to be a common route indeed. TK, have you got any questions before we let Commander Biz get on with his very long stage coming?
No, nothing further. We saw you at the start line, so I'll probably let you hop on with the last few stages, but best of luck for them.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Biz. Oh, short but sweet at the end there, which is always quite nice. And I saw he was right at the start line, didn't want to let those pre-run jitters get to him too much.
He shouldn't be going to the 94. Our producer is furious with Commander, but he just shouted in my ear, Gareth, I'm not at fault for this man's run stage time. You shouldn't shout like that.
Someone's given the wrong run time. That's what's happened.
I was actually given the wrong tap, a wrong tam. That's what it was. That was the issue.
Why did we go both slightly northern there? But
I don't know. I think it's a reference to something, but we don't know what it's from. So we just heard it because the internet is vast. But Commander Biz has started his run here on stage 7. TK, I've been told by our producer that you have to pronounce stage 7 here.
Las Pataguas.
Damn. You pronounced that a lot better than I thought you would.
Certainly because Punju said it earlier, as I remembered.
That's cheating. Vlembar's just finished stage 6 there, and just keeping an eye on how the rest of our runners are doing. Stage 6 for Vlembar was a 5:36.2, which puts him in 3rd place once again. Vlembar is on a roll this afternoon. Sure, and I wonder, Gareth, if we can get Vlembar in for a quick chatty chat. Let's get him in for a quickie. And let's see if we can put him in. Vlembar, how are you doing incredible run on stage 6, an incredible run overall this rally here in Chile. 3 stages to go, and of course you'll be focusing on making sure you get maximum points going towards the final rally in Kenya. But how's it been going so far here in Chile?
Absolutely perfect. I don't think I had any proper mistakes. So yeah, the first 6 stages, yeah, like I said, I would say were perfect. Certainly cannot complain. I think I built a good lead now, and yeah, I think I'm gonna take a bit pace out now for the next 2, and yeah, then I'm obviously gonna try my best to get the maximum points on the last one as well, and bring home the 30 points.
Well, those 30 points could be massive because, of course, there is, I believe, a 22-point gap between yourself and Isa Musing. But with Isa Musing's troubles so far, this rally, he had obviously a puncture early on, even though he put in incredible time in a car that some are saying isn't the best. He believes that our producer has just put in "Bring on the wall" under your name, Vlemba. I think he's very rude indeed. But you've been looking fantastic so far. You can get those 30 points, I'm sure of it. 3 stages to go, a long one coming up next in stage 7. I assume you're on the hard medium strategy like everyone else is. Is it just bringing the car home until the power stage now and then trying to get those extra points?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said, I'm gonna be a bit more cautious now in the next 2, because I don't know how big the lead is at the moment.
I'm sure TK can find out for us very quickly.
I can certainly have a look for you at the end of stage.
Yeah, it's roughly a minute now, actually. So yeah, I think it's more than enough time to relax until the last one, and yeah, then I'm obviously gonna send it there and yeah, maximize it. And yeah, I have to say, shout out to Isa. He's obviously, except the first 2 where he got very unlucky with the puncture. He's doing some very magical things in that Cordoba, which in my personal opinion is probably the worst car in this class. So yeah, I'm actually hella surprised how good he's catching up at the moment. So we'll have to see. I mean, at the moment, I think he's like, I don't know, 7th or 8th or something overall, but I'm convinced he's gonna get back into the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, with his times that he's been putting on, I'm sure that's possible. But you can only focus on yourself now going into these last stages. TK, anything to add before we let Vlemba focus on his next stages?
No, nothing necessarily to add. Just best of luck, and just quickly before we let you go, how glad are you to be out of the nighttime conditions back into sunlight?
Sorry, I didn't catch you. And can you say it again?
How are you looking forward to being back in sunlight out of the nighttime stages?
Gonna make me a bit more happy, but to be fair, I actually do know these stages pretty well, so it's not that much of a problem for me. But yeah, it's still Chile is a rally where you can never be really relaxed when you're pushing, because there's a problem waiting at every corner, just like Mexico last week. So yeah, it's never always easy.
Well, best of luck to you, and I hope the final few stages go your way, and I'm sure we'll chat to you just a little bit later on to see how you went.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you so much, Vlemba. Well, final few stages coming our drivers' ways. They'll be pleasantly surprised that we're back into sunny conditions, of course. They've had 3 nighttime stages back to back to back.
Yeah.
And now we're into the daylight again.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare to hear. I mean, we know Glenbar is fantastic, and as we get blinded by the lights there, as Panjuzo is blinded by the stacks of wood. I told you those stacks of wood are dangerous. No one listened to me, and it's cost Panju big there. I believe, sir, you've left a little bit of your car behind. But once again, smart strategy there from Panju. He shredded as much weight as possible to carry on through. But as I mentioned just before there, TK, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a rally driver be so confident that they've had a perfect 6 stages.
No, confidence is a double-edged sword quite often. You have the ability, and you know you've got the ability to go through a stage like this. But of course, if you are overconfident, you're over-pushing the car. I mean, if you look at Lembar, he's got that 1 minute advantage. Let's not be real. That is huge in rally, especially when you're a driver like himself. But you have got to remember, you've got Isa, you've got Kamikaze, JPH trying to chase you down. They're not slow drivers in their own right.
No, they're not slow drivers at all. And I mean, there's definitely a chance they catch that gap. And of course, as he's saying, he's going to take a little bit off the gas going in to stage 7 and 8 because he doesn't want to damage his car. He needs those 5 points from the power stage. He needs the 30-point swing, to be honest with you. But as he was saying, mad respects to Isaac Musing for the pace he's shown in the car that Vlembar was suggesting is the worst in this class. We will be chatting to Isaac Musing a little bit later when he comes in to do stage 8 commentary, so me and TK can rest our beautiful voices on the commentary booth. Our producer is currently mute. I'm going to ask him if he knows he is, because sometimes he does forget.
I don't know if he'd be trying to say anything at the moment. Quite often he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Eric Tech at the moment trying to make his way through very nice and calmly. This, of course, is the long 17-kilometre stage, so lots to try and navigate. The trees are very close to the edge of the roads here in Chile, and one wrong mistake or one wrong move, you will find yourself either in the cliff on the left-hand side or in a tree on the right at present.
Yeah, and neither of them are very advantageous to our rally drivers. And obviously, TK, I don't want to miscorrect you, but it's technically a 16.9 kilometre stage. So I just want to make sure no of the rally people get on our backs for getting that wrong.
Potato, 16 kilometres, 16.9. Who's really counting here?
Who's counting the kilometres to an inch? No one is.
If you take all the inside lines, I'm sure it's 16.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. As we see Jam there, hopefully we can have a chat with him a bit later, because we still haven't had the opportunity. But look at that downhill section. That is very, very dangerous indeed. But Jam is taking it like it's not anything new. I believe, is that his windscreen or is that a big lake on the left-hand side? No, it's just a massive drop. I thought it was a giant lake reflecting so much sunlight. It looked like water.
Yeah, I don't quite know why. I see what you mean. It looks like it is reflecting sunlight. I think it is just how his screen looks. And of course, if you think he's got a camera, we're not getting a screen share from him. We're actually just having the camera pointed at the triple monitor. So it could be a number of environmental factors as well.
Yeah. I just thought it was like I thought it was like a giant lake, but it's clearly just trees down there. But that would have been quite incredible indeed. But here we are with Punju once again. He's saying this is the hardest part. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Gay. I would never be able to learn circuits like one of these stages inside and out because they all look the same.
See, you say that, and then actually, I've done. So I drove one of these on broadcast, and I'd love to do another one in season 7. When
I'd like to do one as well,
preferably further forward. But
we should do one.
You learn a section of the stages, and you learn how you go through, but then actually, it's muscle memory. You're not actively remembering where you go. You just go, "This is the next turn." You hear the pace note, and you go, "Okay, that's where we go." And for some reason, muscle memory kind of just takes over if you practice them for long enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a go of this. So maybe keep an eye out for season 7. I might jump in. I do own the game because I believe it's on the Game Pass.
It is, yes.
So I can jump in and give it a go at some point. So when the rallies get released next year, I'll pick one, and I'll not next year, but next season, and I'll jump in a few. Maybe I'll jump in for one, maybe a few.
I reckon we do what we did a couple of seasons ago. We have the commentators pick round as we head through, and that would be fantastic if we can. I'm not suggesting here anything, Gareth or Punju, making the way through commentators round again. I'm definitely not going to make up for what we had last time, the Central European Rally and rear-wheel drive cars. I couldn't possibly imagine anything worse than that. But I'm sure we could pick a nice little rally for us to partake in.
Yeah, because I'm really good at cars that aren't circuit-driven cars. Totally. Really good at that.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It looks like Jam is having a couple of issues there with the Lancer just as he makes his way down the hill. And whilst we're speaking of getting the game, and we'll come back to it a little bit later on as well. Obviously, there's new DLCs coming out. We've got one a little bit later. I mean, the Hard Chargers pack got its reveal trailer coming out literally tomorrow. So keep an eye on the EA Sports WRC channel for that. But the Le Maestros, which I can pronounce correctly, everybody at home, I got it wrong on our live stream to start off with. If you have EA Play, you actually get the Maestros DLC free on Steam to keep at the moment. That is a fantastic offer.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic deal and a fantastic offer. And I would certainly get on that as soon as you possibly can. This is from what I've commentated, end of the month. So you've got until the end of March to get it sorted. And if you don't, it's on you.
That is on you. We've told you.
Yeah.
And if you don't listen, that's on you.
Completely on you. But from what I've watched and what I've seen, it is a very enjoyable experience, and I'm very much looking forward to doing it. Just realised that I'm seeing double here, ladies and gentlemen. There is 2 Aerotechs on my screen.
No, you need glasses and it'll bring it together. Don't worry about that. There we go.
There we
I put my
go.
glasses. Everyone at home simultaneously put their glasses on.
It's the one Aerotech now. That was weird, indeed. Aerotech and Duke slightly. Oh, he's turning to Ryan. Ryan is now racing I believe, stage 7 still, which is, as mentioned, Las Patagus.
Pataguas.
Yes, that one.
Pataguas.
Pataguas. It's not very dyslexic friendly.
It's really not.
It's really not. No words are dyslexic friendly, let's be honest.
But hey, as we continue through the 7th stage here, 16.9 kilometers. Don't forget after this, don't go anywhere because we've got Eyes Amusing running us through his run of stage 8, just I think a 10.8 kilometer stage. So I can't wait to hear him do that. Of course, he does do it on his own streams as well, but now you'll be hearing it live on the Crazy Series channels as well. Aerotech and Ryan making their way through. Aerotech now not far off the finish of the stage, and I think he'll be very thankful to see the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, those tyres that they've been on for a few stages now, they're going to be struggling. They'll be looking forward to getting those mediums on come stage 9. Of course, one more stage on these hards to go, and then obviously a brand new set of those mediums to get them through the power stage. And we are going to have, after this stage, a very quick jam session, also known as a jam interview.
I love a jam sesh.
I love a good jam sesh. That's what they say in the business, or that's what we say anyway. Aerotech is coming towards the end of his stage run. Will be the last long stage of today's stream. Of course, if you want more WRC action, make sure you'll stay tuned to all of the socials for Creator Series and WRC, because of course we only have one more rally left this season of Championship number 6, or season number 6, and it is the Rally Kenya in the WRC cards, which I believe everyone is very much looking forward to come next Monday. I believe myself and TK will be here again. I may be wrong on that fact, but I am wrong on that fact. Is it? I'm not wrong.
You are wrong because I'm not here.
It's not
It's not me. I'm away for the week at my girlfriend's because I've got a wedding on Wednesday to go to as well.
Oh, you mean? Yeah, let Kate do it. That's fine. No, I'll just do it myself, Gareth. That's fine. It's all good.
A whole 3-hour broadcast by yourself. I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just well, we're gonna let Eyes Amusing race because he'll be fighting.
Yes.
So me and my producer do it. He's my producer now, not Creator Series producer.
Exclusive rights have been attained.
Yes.
But let's watch with Ryan as he comes up towards. He is improving on his personal best time, which is good to see. Down just to the left-hand side of his speedometer. Looked like he lost a bit of time in the opening the opening sections of this run, but he's made it up at the second to last one that he's just come through. And that's interesting that he's starting to find a flow, starting to find a rhythm as well.
More interesting considering you'd expect the tyres to be more worn by the time we get to the end of the stage, but he's clearly found a little bit more pace in this car to get himself further up, as he's flying through this end of stage 7 now. We come towards the flag, and then of course, it's very bumpy on the exit there. Only a few more tight corners to go for Ryan, who's looked very good in the last couple of stages, and he's still up on his time. He'll be hoping to get himself into at least the top 20. It is still, it was nearly a possibility, but he's had a little bit of an off there. He can still do it, coming around the final section of this stage, and it'll be now a straight run, I believe, to the flag. With well, maybe I say straight run, maybe with a few bends. But our producer has told me that we're not allowed to look at that anymore. But now we are, as we come up towards the video. It is a 12:13, which I believe will put him outside the top 20, but inside the top 25.
Yeah, it certainly is. Good run time.
Oh.
I caught myself. Don't worry, I caught myself. Folks, don't charge the comments all at once.
Don't lynch me straight away.
12-13 across the finish there. Isaac Musing still about halfway through his run. Of course, we'll be speaking to him, probably a little bit more later on when he goes for a run of stage 8. And we'll be getting us a running commentary of that. Jam, of course, will have a chat after he finishes off stage 7 as well. Vlemba on your screens and Punju with a considerable amount of damage to his little pizza.
Yes, I did fuck up.
That's nice.
And so we swiftly move on from that message that appeared on screen as we hear Punju here. He's getting almost ready for his next stage run, which I believe is stage 8. But stage 7 is still going for the Jam, as we're going to call him from now on.
Like if you were doing a Clarkson impression, like the Jam.
It's the Jam.
It's a great band as well. They had a great song about woking. I'm just going to slot that one in there as well.
Every time we're on broadcast, you somehow mention woking.
I do. They had a song called Town Called Malice. About
I mean, I would never do that with my football club. I wouldn't register any sort of form or support for them on stream. You come here and do that sort of thing. It's disgraceful, I say.
It certainly is. Jam not far off the finish here. Neither is Vlemba. I wonder if we're able to check on a couple of other drivers. I think JPH is probably running through quite smoothly as well, whilst Punju just sat there paused and waiting for his one. There we go. JPH in the bottom left of your screens. Very similar position, actually, to no one. I thought he was closer to Jam than he was, actually, as he was making his way through there.
He's in the tree section again, is he? He's in the tree section. Yeah, he's in the trees again. Not literally in the trees, because that would be a stage runner, but he is flying through this part of the stage, which is near the trees once again.
Yeah, if you're playing I Spy here at the Chilean Rally, I don't think you'll have the best of time if you want to say I Spy a tree, because there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, and also you don't want to say I Spy a tree because you'd be giving away what you're I Spying.
There is that one that I hadn't necessarily thought about. But in order of coming across the line, it will be Jam, then JPH, then either Isa Musing or Vlemba, who are incredibly close at the moment. I think Isa's just inching ahead on the run. But if Jam can keep it clean, he's going to be coming up towards the finish line very, very shortly.
Yeah, he certainly will. Sorry, I just had to recover from my own joke. But Jam is coming towards the end of his stage run here. Stage 7, you can see on his pace notes there, the flag is on the horizon, and he has crossed it. He's going to stop by the marshals, and hopefully we'll be grabbing Mr. Jam in for an interview. We're going to have a quick Jam session, as also JPH is also finishing his stage run. And I can't see what that time is. It is a 13:09, which I believe we'll put it in for a Jam time. And we're going to bring in Jam. It's time for a Jam session, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have a quick chat with Jam. Jam, how you doing, mate? We're on the stage, going on to stage 8 now.
So you scared the crap out of me. I was going...
That's all good. That's all good. I'm just saying, how are you feeling about the stages you've done so far? We've just finished stage 7. We're going on to the last 2 stages. How have you felt so far here at Chile?
It's been a struggle for sure. The car choice that I picked, mostly because I picked the Evo 6 for people who don't know, and I decided to pick it because it doesn't get as much, use as much. Like this season has been, for me, been choosing the cars that are usually less seen on the broadcast, so I'm picking cars that I kind of like that. Feels very slow to my usual pick in this class, which is the Mini Cooper in that green livery, but it does feel a lot more. I don't actually know how to words right now. Like turnable, it's a lot better to twist about into these corners. It's actually kind of fun, not fast, but is really cool and really kind of fun to turn into corners and such. Beyond that, it's kind of been a struggle in terms of just keeping my concentration down as well. I'm very much lacking some sleep right now, so just got better from being a little ill, but we try what we can, and for the most part I was expecting to be in the 200s or lower, but we're kind of right under the 200 mark on most of these stages, so I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
Yeah, it was a fantastic couple of runs you're having so far. And of course, what made you choose the Lancer for this afternoon's endeavours? Of course, I think you're the only person running Mitsubishi this afternoon.
That's right. Yeah. So at the end of last week, we were kind of talking around the VC, and I was asking the guys like, "Hey, what car should we pick?" or what should I pick rather? Because I'm like, I wanted to pick. For one, I like the meme picks, but at the same time, I want cars that I rarely ever seen on stage. So I figured, and then a few cars were thrown about. The Cordoba was one, the 206 Peugeot was also thrown about, and then there was no one actually called this one out, the Evo. So to me, I was like, I mean, knowing that I tried all those cars by the way, and I hated every single one of them, and this one's the one I kind of loved more. And I figured since no one was going to use it, I'm going to use it, so at least we get some representation of the Evo. And it's not bad.
Excuse.
Yeah, I think that's the way you should go for it. Go for the car that many people wouldn't normally choose. But yeah, as we were saying, you've done some very good times. I think so. People are so close on today's rallies in Chile.
Mm-hmm.
2 more rallies to go. Stage 8, and then of course the power stage in stage 9. What are your plans for these last 2 stages? You're just going to go for it on the power stage?
I'm saving my mediums for power stage to see if I can get something. Very unlikely, but then again, Isa is driving the Cordoba, so who knows? He might end up in a tree or upside down or both at the same time at some point or another. Who knows? Maybe someone would fumble and I'll get some points for the first time ever, but we'll see how it goes. I doubt it. We see what we can get.
Amazing stuff, Arjan. Best of luck to you, and hopefully we look forward to seeing some good times in stage 8 and stage 9 respectively.
I will try my best.
Thank you,
man.
man.
So much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, it was good to get some jam time in. It's always nice.
Such a jolly fellow.
He is. He's a jolly good fellow.
Yeah, we'll have a sing. He's a jolly. That's probably copyright, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. It's fine. Cut it. Don't worry. Now I believe Mr. Eisenmuth has finished his run on stage 7. He put it 10th on his stage, by the way.
Wow.
10th overall, which is a 11:54, I believe. And on that stage, Vlembar went 8th with an 11:54 as well. So Eisenmusing was only 4/10 off Vlembar's time in that
and he's
session.
picked himself back to 32nd overall after 7 stages. Bear in mind, he was 97th 2 stages ago.
And there he
He's
is.
back to 32nd. And I believe he's here, is he?
Yeah, he's just putting his headphones back on. I believe we should talk about his puncture before we get started on stage 8. I think that would be really good to start with. As he has got undeafened himself, so I believe he is ready for a chat before we go into stage 8. I can hear myself twice there. That's interesting. He has now fixed that problem. Eisenmusing, how you been doing, mate?
Could be better. Let's put it that way. Stage 1, a bit where I didn't practice. I only had time to practice the shorter stages, and we take a different junction to normal. And so I got a pace note that was basically flat out, and I realized mid-corner that it was most definitely not flat out. So double puncture, with on 2 stages to go, effectively. And I realized also that for some odd reason, never happened before, but I didn't have a spare tire. So I drove the entirety of the 2 stages with 2 punctured tires, which was interesting. I did enjoy that, to be honest, but I didn't enjoy the time loss. And since then, we've been just pushing 110%.
I mean, yeah, 110% is probably a bit of an understatement. I think 2 stages ago, you were 97th overall. In 2 stages, you've gained 65 positions. You're up to 32nd, which is just absolutely incredible.
It defies my own expectations, to be honest. I've had my Colin McCrash moment, and now I'm trying to drive a bit like Colin McRae. And I'm not sure if you can see my screen right now, but I'm just all over the place. And it's quite enjoyable, actually. Finally, gloves are off. I've really got to make up the positions, and so can't afford a mistake either. But I've really got to gain the time back, and so it's actually quite liberating to go there and just say, well, I've got to try and drive this as if it's time trial. 1 attempt, so you've got to try and get as close to the world record as possible. And with this car, it might not be the fastest, but oh my god, it's enjoyable. It's just sideways all the time, no grip whatsoever. It destroys the tires in less than a stage. But would I change it for the world? Oh no, it's lovely.
Amazing. Well, final question, and of course, we spoke before the broadcast about you potentially commentating stage 8. Are you still up to doing that for us and the viewers?
Most definitely.
Amazing stuff. Well, stage 8, Rare or Rare, 10.8 kilometers. She's all yours.
I was going to let John pronounce that.
It's been pronounced. That's fine. Perfect. Finally got away with it.
Well, good luck with your stage, mate, and we're looking forward to you here going through it.
Indeed, indeed. I'm just looking. Can't disable that video. That's fine. No worries. Well, this stage is really, really difficult in that it starts off extremely fast and then gets a lot more technical towards the end. You've really got to measure yourself into it. And the problem is really that with the tires having done 4 stages or 3 stages now, this being the 4th stage, you're going to run out of grip at some point. I ran out of grip about 2 stages ago, so this is going to be very, very interesting on the high-speed sections. If you hear a French co-driver, there's a good reason for that, is because I'm trying out the French co-driver this time, seeing whether the notes are better. Although, judging by that first stage, maybe not. Anyway, moving on. Here we go. And by the way, for the commentators, feel free to ask questions if you want as well. So on stage start, lights out and away we go. You've got a long drag up the hill where you just want to keep it as flat as possible and get as close to the trees as possible, you know, hop all the way over the roads there. And with this rally, you really want, especially with these old cars, you want a, you know, rear brake bias so that you can really chuck the car into the corners, carry the momentum. As I said, the tires are completely gone at this stage, so the rear tires are more like Formula 1 slicks. So going up the hill, you know, you've got to also keep the torque in the optimal range. You know, the rally cars, unlike most other competition cars, don't operate over revving effectively. So you've just got to be mindful of when you feel the car is losing momentum a little bit. So as you can see, it really opens up onto this top section. You've got to carry, again, try and keep it flat as much as possible. And try and get that 6th gear, although we're a little bit offline for the moment here. We covered it very well. But as you can see, most of it is just absolutely sideways, flat out. And the thing is, especially on a very technical rally like this, you've got to push 110% for those last 5 seconds. There's no other way of doing it. There's no other sort of smoothness that you can bring into it to gain that time back. There's very little grip on the stage. You've got to go and find it. And sometimes it can be found offline here because of the difficult camber on the stage. You can see sometimes that the road is in positive camber here, so you can, or that's negative camber actually, the other way around. And this corner is positive camber. So you've got to really just look at the roads, judge what you're seeing, and see if you can, for example, ditch hook here and get it rotated. But it's easier said than done, that's for sure. And the problem is also the elevation on these roads. I mean, you've seen already 7 stages of it, but you're going to see another one here where you're just all over the shop in terms of grip and in terms of brakes. Because you've got to do effectively trail braking plus handbrake plus accelerator sometimes to get the car rotated into the corner. And if it sounds complicated, it's because it is, and it takes probably hundreds of hours to perfect the techniques, which is why every single time that I have somebody ask me, you know, what can I do to get better, just practice. There's nothing else that you can really do about it, especially on gravel rallies. Richard Burns Rally Driving School is another great way to learn techniques, but watching other people is a great way to do it. So as you can see right now, we're going into a very foresty section, very twisty, lots of rocks and hidden obstacles, so you've just got to ride the wave, as they say, although we're pretty far from the coast here, I think. But, you know, you've just got to go for it and see what can happen in these corners. A lot of hairpins, so making sure that there's no understeer right there, just tapping the handbrake here or there to get the car rotated will gain you lots of time. It's important to note as well, 4-wheel drive cars much better suited to these conditions, because driving rear-wheel drive cars in this rally, you'll burn up the tires instantly, and spinning on the hairpins is never the best, but always tricky. As you can see, just trying to get it rotated, little bit of front not complying with what I wanted the car to do right there. And then as you pick up speed, you've got to just judge with the pace notes as much as possible. Thank God we didn't have any rain here, because that would have been just the worst combination, or the best, if you like that kind of stuff. Avoiding the rocks on the inside that can flip your car over. I found that out stage 1, would you believe? That is not where we crashed, but you can see how difficult it is. Keeping in higher gears as well, sometimes on the downhill sections, prevents the engine braking that gives you understeer, so that can be really useful to remember. Although, you know, even for me, remembering all of those techniques while I'm hurtling down a mountainside at over 100 kilometers per hour sometimes is tricky at the best of times. And towards the end of this stage as well, you'll get another section where it opens up really onto, like, I wouldn't say a valley section, but you've got more sort of medium to fast corners with a lot of blind crests, a bit like that one, for example, where you've got to adjust your tempo. Little clip of the inside there, never ever good to do that. You can get serious bodywork damage from that, like I got in stage 1 as well, where I could hardly see the road. So that's another thing as well, just keeping your car in good condition. And one of the things as well that we had in earlier stages is the time of day, the night sessions, which I think a lot of drivers might have struggled with, including myself. So now we've got the daytime. It encourages you to push a lot faster. It encourages you to go for it. And unfortunately, at the end of the rally, that's where the mistakes can be made as well. You know, when you're so used to driving cautiously, you can really just get out of habit with taking these cuts, with keeping it flat out on these turns as much as possible. Just, I was holding the wheel there, praying that it was turning in. Thank God this car is legendary in terms of the handling. That's one thing as well with these older WRC cars, is you've got to be a bit more aggressive with them, otherwise they just don't turn. Compared to people that are driving, for example, the C4 or the Focus 2008, maybe even the Subaru 2008, they just turn into the corners, no problem whatsoever. But these things, you've really got to drive them old school, and I think a lot of people enjoy seeing that. That's what made Colin McRae one of the favourite drivers of all time, was his driving style. And I'd love to think that I'm sort of 50% as good as Colin McRae, but that would be underestimating Colin McRae quite a bit. So down to these last 2 sectors, as you can see, we're getting into a foresty section once again, halfway down the mountain, and into the good old hairpins. Very, very tricky here. You've got to just pray that the car rotates and use... At this point, don't worry about the tyres. You've only got 2 sectors to go. Just use all of the grip of the tyres. You'll get new ones, at least for me, at the end of this stage, ready for the power stage. And most important now is to not damage the car. But then again, I should have listened to myself at stage 1 and stage 2 for that to be true as well. Keeping it full throttle all the way around. A lot of it is about weight transfer. If you've got the car going one way, you can easily flick it to go the other way and then rotate the car, and that's how you gain time in these rallies. You'll notice that the people gaining a lot of time, the people that are very confident, they just gain time in the corners by carrying that momentum. And really out onto the bottom, where I have a very, very strange deja vu section with this road, a few corners after this. And indeed on that one, I hit a rock like that, and I rolled instead of going up the bank there. That was a bit of an interesting final couple of turns right there. And across the line, 7:32. I have no idea if that's a good time. Felt good, but the tyres are gone.
Yeah, P7, P8 over there. Fantastic run from you guys. Absolutely incredible. And still be able to get a top 10 time whilst talking us through your run. And as the graphic said, 51% as good as McRae there. Fantastic, fantastic run.
Yeah, still a few seconds off of Lembar. He's really going for it. You know, he's incredible pace. But you know, at this point, I'm looking behind me on the leaderboard to see how many places I can. You know, Ryan's doing a great job, but there's no way I can catch him. Same for Ambient Mike. But there is a world where, for example, I can catch RC JPH. I'd have to look on the overall leaderboard for that. But yeah, interesting commentating on it, to be honest. You know, it's a different... I remember there being a TV program where McRae did the same, and I was always fascinated with trying that myself. And there you go. I got to try it out.
Well, I reckon you will be able to catch Ryan. You're only about 25, 30 seconds off of himself.
It's one
JPH
stage to go.
Slightly up the roads, about 20 seconds quicker than Ryan had been. No, about 10 seconds quicker than Ryan's been going. So it's still close amongst the. I mean, you're placed 29th at the moment.
Overall.
You're ahead of Kamikaze by a few positions as well.
Yeah, I've got to pay attention to that, not make a mistake and get another puncture. Commander Biz, 10 seconds to Commander Biz. I think that's the maximum unless anybody makes a mistake in the power stage. But you never know. We've seen it happen before. It's rally. Anything can happen. And I'm certainly putting people under a lot of pressure just by pushing flat out. So I think power stage got to push, got to try. I don't think I'll be able to do it, but got to try and deny Vlembar of those power stage points. Yeah, who knows? But we're having the time of our life, let's put it that way.
Amazing stuff. Best of luck for the power stage, Isaac. We're going to leave you be as we have got the first cars out on their power stage runs. We'll check in with you after it concludes.
Hope everything goes well for everybody else as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Pleasure as always. Well, let's get ahead to the power stages then. Aerotech and Punju, our first runners out here, Alex, and they're nearly done.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, our producer was screaming in our ear to wrap it up. I mean, I couldn't hear my own thoughts how loud he was. But we are on stage 9 now that I've also been pronounced.
Hualqui, I think is how I'm going to go.
Hualqui. That's probably pretty good. Now, of course, if you're new to Rally, you may not know why we call this the power stage and why it's so special. There is extra points at play this afternoon for the man or woman that tops the power stage.
Certainly is indeed. So you get 25 for winning the rally itself. But if you are fastest on the power stage, at least amongst our creators, an additional 5 points comes your way, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 for the 5th fastest or the 5 fastest drivers over this final stage. And in the grand scheme of things, that's some good points going forward in the championship.
Yeah, especially how close it is. And I'm, again, I'm using pulling off that lap and talking us through it was absolutely incredible to watch. I mean, he said before that we could ask him questions. I didn't want to ask him questions while he was doing that. He had enough things to worry about, let alone us just, talking in his ear. But that was quite incredible indeed. As Aerotech is about to come towards the end of the power stage, as the time on the board will be the first one to see. It is a 5:53 here in the power stage, and he is pumped about that time. And that would put him, I believe, 20, top 20. Which is pretty good for Aerotech. It hasn't updated RaceNet just yet. Just giving Commander Biz is top 9, I believe. And Cephalosis!
15 seconds ago with the
That's an unfortunate place to slide your car, especially on the power stage as well. Halfway through, finds that Scooby on its side, which you unfortunately do with a lot of Scoobies at the moment.
We certainly do. That is a shame. Yeah, Aerotech just inside the top 20, just 20th. Commander Biz is 9th according to our thing. Ryan's had a mistake as well. Oh, it's all going wrong for the guys on the power stage.
As it so often does, the pressure that you find yourself on the power stage, the wantingness to do well. I think again going to trip the outsides there. The car taking a right battering for Ryan. I think maybe got into his head a little bit too much. You can see the time just crawling away from him compared to his best ever. And that's rather unfortunate. Punju and Jam there. Watch on board with Punju. He's coming up towards the checkered flag. Let's see what he does. He starts to celebrate, I think, already. And that's a 5:14. That's not, can't be a 5:14.
6:14.
I was about to say.
A 5:14 would have been quite incredible if he had pulled that off. I think he was quite happy with it overall. Ryan, I'm sure, and Cephalosis won't be as happy with their runs, but due to those incidents. But I'm sure they will be coming towards the end of their stage runs just now. As you mentioned, TK, the power stage, yes, it's a stage where you can gain a lot, but you can also lose a lot on this power stage as well.
Absolutely. I mean, Isaac Easing was talking about just how close it's going to be between himself and Ryan, and obviously he said he might not have caught Ryan without a mistake, and that is a mistake in itself. Not only one, but I think a second one for this run in itself in towards the barriers. Fortunately, didn't go further down the side of the hill and manages to get the car going once again. But mistakes are starting to creep in for Ryan. A little bit of lapse in concentration as he clips the banking once again, gets the car going. That's the most important thing, but he's over 4 seconds down on his time. Isa is still going to have to pull an amazing drive on this power stage if he wants to challenge Ryan on this leaderboard.
Oh, he's got a reset penalty as well. Right at the end. And that's given him another 5 seconds. He's got a 6 minutes. I mean, Ryan, even with Isa Musing not commentating, managed to curse him. Poor Ryan, commentated by Isa Musing once again. Oh, how's that the same thing?
Ryan, yeah, there's a lot of disbelief on Ryan's face. I don't know where he got that cut penalty, and I think if there were stewards here in WRC, we certainly see an appeal being pushed forward to them. And Cephalosis more focused at the moment on making sure that his Subaru gets to the end of the rally. The wheel flicking around as he's trying to keep the car pointing in the correct direction. The wipers going and all. And as we head down towards the checkered flag, we now see Vlembar, Jam, and JPH. Jam only moments away from crossing the finish line as well. And it's Cephalosis into a tree and a puncture as well. Doesn't have a spare tyre.
He doesn't have a spare tyre, but he's right at the end. He's he got the. Oh, see, there's a guy standing there. He's taken out the marshal. Now he's got to stop by a marshal. 6:30 for Jam and Cephalosis with a smile on his face, but I'm sure he's not overly happy with that. Now, these are the ones that matter. Top left, Lembar, of course, JPH there. Kamikaze in the bottom left as well. Yeah, 6:36. Definitely not what he would have wanted. I don't know where that puts him overall in the event.
170th. 172.
172. As we keep an eye on the other, JPH has finished his run of the power stage. We'll keep an eye on what he's managed to pull off here, and that has put him fourth. What a run that is! Just under ambient mic, by less than 1/10 of a second.
Wow, fantastic stage for JPH. I'm curious where that puts him overall in the rally as well, and if that's anything to go by, yeah, fourth in the stage overall. JPH up into 14th. So at the moment, top of our creators as everyone still comes across their respective lines.
I mean, that is quite an impressive time from JPH. I would be curious to interview him afterwards if he was ever ever likely to even be near that time. I think that was quite incredible. We know he's a fast man, but that was quite incredible to watch. Isa Musing, Vlembar, and the three that we want to find out what they can do on this power stage. I mean, TK, if you were a betting man, who's your money on?
I mean, at the moment, if you've seen how quick Isa Musing's been, he's managed to recover from nearly 100 up to, 20-something? My money's going on Isa for this one.
Even in that car, you think he's got this?
Even in that car, yes.
I mean, sales of that car is going to go through the roof after this, if he pulls this off. But Kamikaze and Vlembar are no slouches. Cami was a 4:27 through the Sector 3 split.
So that's going to give us reference of both Vlembar and Isa Musing. Isa's next up to come through that sector and through that split here. 4:27 is what we're looking for on the clock at the top right. 22, 23, 24, 25, and he comes across the split there. 27-2. It's almost identical between Isa Musing and Kamikaze.
And we're keeping an eye on Vlembar as well, as he's also about to hit that as well. He's on 4:25, 26, 27. I think he's a little bit behind. He's actually quite far behind. He's at 4:30. Oh, Kamikaze! Goodness me, 5:40.992. That puts him second overall. My goodness me, what a final part of that run it was.
Well, let's see where Isa Musing's going to go if Kamikaze's managed to launch that car into second on the stage. What is our man from the commentary box going to be able to do? He counts down. He's got just under 30 seconds if he wants to try and chase down the man that has bested him through the majority of this rally course. Unfortunate punctures that came the way of Isa Musing, and the timer is not on his side at the moment. 20 seconds to go as we reach our way towards the checkered flag for himself. Vlembar's slightly out of it, but not too far, of course, when he's had good, consistent runs over the course of this rally. Isa Musing giving it all or nothing up towards the line. He misses the man on the left-hand side up towards 40.6. How's he faring? He's done it.
He's done second in the power stage. what a final part of that run it was. He is beaten Kamikaze. Here comes Vlembar. He's going to be a bit further behind. The power stage did not go to plan from the man who was looking to win the power. 5:48 is nowhere near the man that's put it second, and that man is Isa Musing, 5:40.6. That is quite incredible indeed.
Isa Musing finishes 25th overall. Kamikaze 29th overall. Ryan 22nd. Commander Biz 24th. And we had JPH up in 15th. Ambient Mike up in 12th. Vlembar finishes 3rd overall. That is incredible run. I think this battle, this championship, could be going to Rally Kenya.
And our producer said it will be going to Kenya, even with the win, as we are going to get Vlembar in. Vlembar, mate, you wanted that win in the power stage. Unfortunately, did not go to plan, but you did win the overall here in Chile. It will go to Rally Kenya for the championship. But what happened on that power stage? Because, I mean, having a look at time, 5:40 in that car. I'm sure you were as surprised as we were when we saw that cross the line.
Yeah, I obviously had my only mistake at the end there. I overjudged the corner a bit, went a bit too quick into it, and hit like these metal poles on the outside, which have hit some corners. Yeah, probably lost me like, I would say 3 seconds or so. Obviously unfortunate that I didn't get a point then in the power stage. But yeah, overall win is still very, very good, considering Isa is 6th overall, I think now. I don't think he got this in the end, so yeah. If I'm not wrong, that's the 7 points difference which I have now to Isa for Kenya. So it's gonna be probably whoever wins takes it home. But yeah, except that last mistake at the end, I'm more than happy.
I mean, you should be more than happy, mate. You were flying through this rally. I mean, the only reason that Isa Musing managed to close it is putting some incredible performances on the last few stages. In that power stage, I think will go down as one of his best so far in WRC. Incredible to watch. But yourself, of course, Kenya is up next Monday, the final of season 6. Very different season 5. It says season 6 on the top.
Championship 6, yeah.
Have you just corrected me, Gareth, when you're wrong?
It is Championship 6.
It says Championship 6.
Oh no, because we had the wacky weather in there somewhere for Championship 5. That's where that's come from. So it is season 5.
It's season
6th
5.
championship we've run on there.
I apologise, Gareth. I'm wrong. Yeah, Vlembar's saying we're going to the final round in Kenya. How are you feeling about that? I imagine it's a very different rally to what we've just experienced here. Very different cars as well.
I'm very confident for Kenya. Usually I'm very good in Kenya. I think, I don't know how it is with Isa. I'm sure he would say he isn't too good, but I wouldn't be surprised if he would be level with me. So yeah, I think the best I can do is just repeat what I did today, and then we have to see who is standing beyond top at the end.
Amazing stuff. Well, Vlembar, congratulations on a win in Rally Chile once again. Sorry, Alex, didn't mean to cut you off. If you had anything further to ask?
No, I was gonna jump in and ask TK if you had any questions, but it's all good, mate. We're all working through it.
No, nothing to add. Vlembar, again, congratulations, and we look forward to. Well, I'm sure the guys in the broadcast look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be watching along from home.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vlembar.
Well, I think positivity, looking forward. He admits the mistake he made in towards the final power stage, but of course, it's consistency that really paid off in his favour this week.
Yeah, he was consistent through the whole rally. I mean, you can say Isa got unlucky with the punctures he had, but Isa proved again why he's so fast. And I think we will finish with JPH as well. He was top 3, and we're going to bring in JPH because I think at the end of that power stage, we can say that maybe you weren't expecting to be where you were, but that was quite an incredible run of that power stage. How are you feeling after that, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with it, to be honest. I mean, luckily it's a sort of stage I managed to get a bit of knowledge on just doing a bit of setup work on the car. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice run, but I mean, it's still only fourth in the creators, so it's a phenomenal stage for 2 points, really. But yeah, that is it is good. I enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. I mean, the whole event was fun, to be fair. You know,
Yeah.
everyone was pushing hard, and I think everyone made the odd mistake here and there. So yeah, no, it was good fun tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good fun out there. Everyone was really pushing to their hardest and really proving why WRC is the place to be on a Monday night here at Creator Series. Of course, we have one last round one last rally, I should say, this season of Season 5, as I've been told by our producer. It is Rally Kenya. Very different to what we've just done here today. Are you as confident going into that one as you were in Chile?
Yeah, I enjoy Kenya. I do enjoy the Safari Rally. It's fantastic, right? It's obviously nice, a bit more open, but obviously you got lots of rocks instead of little banks and stuff. The only thing is that Punju's put in some storm weather for us to deal with. So it's although looking at the real life Safari weather at the moment, it might not be too far off realistic. But yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to Safari. It's always a good event. And yeah, we're back in the Rally 1 machinery, so it's going to be, it could be very tight between us all again because very equal footing.
I mean, TK, you got anything else to add to here before we call the end to WRC today?
No, just massive congratulations, JPH. It was a phenomenal drive for you in that power stage, and again, consistency over the course of the rally was just on your side this afternoon. Massive, massive congratulations.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you
so much. Well, Alex, unfortunately, as all good things, this tonight must come to an end. We've seen a fantastic race. We've seen a fantastic rally.
You only just see what Jared's
I've
done.
only just seen what's happened.
Yeah.
We've had a fantastic rally over in Chile. Some fierce competition with Kamikaze and Isam using, I think, 0.3 of a second off each other in that final stage. It's been absolutely fantastic. Aerotech's coming in with the raid as well, so massive shout out to everybody coming in. Aerotech, congratulations on the run from yourself. But Alex, where can they check you out at home if they want to do so just a little bit more?
Well, if you want to check me out, you can find me at DefLink10 on basically any social platform from X to TikTok, Instagram, and I stream mostly daily on Twitch, if I don't forget.
If you want to check out any of the Creator Series social medias, they're all above our heads. We're over on Instagram at F1 Creator Series, along with Twitter and or X, TikTok as well, Twitch, where you may be watching tonight's broadcast at F1 at Creator Series, not F1 Creator Series. YouTube, we've got 2 channels now. We have Creator Series for our F1 side, and of course the newly launched WRC Creator Series over on YouTube as well. If you haven't done so already, go drop them a subscribe, drop the like on the video as well, because it massively does help the algorithm push it out to more people, and hopefully we'll be hitting 8,000 members by the end of Rally Kenya. That's my aim for the hope. It's only about 190 members more, which is definitely doable. Easy. Considering how many we've got in the group at the moment. Don't forget to give a follow out to our producer behind the scenes, Gareth Allen TV. He's in the Twitch chat as well. Go give him a follow. That'd be much appreciated. And of course, if you want to come race or get involved, feel free to click the link in the Twitch chat or go to linktree/WRC Creator Series. That has a link to our Discord and or the RaceNet Club to come along and join. As for myself, I've been at They Call Me TK, also known as Tom Knight Rises, Trash Can as well. Until this lovely bunch of people see you next time out on a Monday evening, from all of us here, it's good night and God bless.